Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, beautiful Cayman Islands, and all of the people of the Cayman Islands. That includes you. Yes, you. I'm looking at you right there in your car right now, driving. How are you, honey child? You doing good? Well, I am feeling amazing, wonderful, fantastical, all the other wonderful words I could think of this morning. Feeling good, honey child. All right. Let's go ahead and get Instagram going. There's a whole story, health-wise. I think we need to be having like a whole health segment, like trending health news. Ooh la la, I just gave myself a totally good idea. Look at that. Look at that. When you're just thinking impromptu, things just come to you, honey chill. Let me just get Instagram going. I got to think about how to do that whole health segment. It's more like, in layman's terms, not necessarily experts talking about it, but just us talking about the latest health news and what it means. Yeah. Gosh, there's just so much going on. Let me see who's in class early this morning. We have Miss Evelyn. She gets an A+ for being the first person to say good morning and to comment. Good for you, Mamacita. How are you? We have Strong Wilt. I'm going to give you an A as well, Strong Wilt. I see you. Nice and early. Good for you. We also have Shaka in the house. Good morning. Oh, let me see here now. I got to fix this Wi-Fi thing. Ugh, why is that popping up in my way? All right. Marshall. Joining us from NYC, that is not NYC, NC, North Carolina. Oh, I'm trying to see why my computer's been a little bit temperamental lately, I'll tell you. Okay, Kirks. Damaris, good morning to you, darling. How are you? Let me see here. We have Richard. He says, everyone, it's a beautiful morning in Round Rock, Texas, and I'm enjoying my walk with CMR. I'd rather be walking 7 Mile Beach. Well, come on home. We miss you. When was the last time you were home? Yes, let's make it a trip. Why not? Well, there's certain parts of the beach you can't walk anymore. I hate to tell you, but I think you can still walk a good part of the 5.5 miles. It was never 7 miles. They basically lied to you about that one, honey child. It's always been 5.5 miles. But anyway, We get what you mean. You'd rather be on the beach, and yeah, I wouldn't mind it either. Okay. Beautiful. Miss Sue, how are you coming along with that leg of yours? I heard it was your ankle that you actually, I don't know why I thought it was your knee, but I understand it's your ankle. You broke your ankle or sprained it? I think broke it, right? So she had to have surgery at Health City as well. Oh my God. A broken ankle. Gosh, I must tell you, I haven't broken anything in a hot minute, thank God. It's not fun when you get to a particular age and you start to break stuff. So I feel your pain. Melody, how you doing? Good morning to the beautiful Pat. Diamond Princess, how are you? Irvin had a little chuckle. Says, I'm great, thank you. Sabrina, good morning to you, my dear. How are you? Shamika. Nighty, good morning. Blessings to you. All right, let me just see something here now. I'm trying to figure out why this little Wi-Fi task manager thing, is that what that says? Is in my way and it doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to move. It's in my visual way. Yeah. Something stuck. All right, I'm just gonna have to ignore it because I don't want to take any chances during the show. K-Man 49er, big up yourself. I hear that you're visiting for a couple days. I'm trying to get you guys some mugs. I did message my lady yesterday, and I think I probably need to follow up with her. See if we can do a quick order on some of the CMR mugs so that you can get some. Yes, hopefully we can sort that out for you. Honey chill. All right. Allow me, please, to get all of my links. So we need to do Facebook. I was watching you guys know I'm such a foodie, but what I really love to do, you guys might not know this, but what I really love to do is I love to look at recipes. I'm always sending every single day. I'm sending Miss Stacy all of these amazing recipes that I see on social media. They know how to like make everything. So they claim, and it's like, try this recipe for, lower this and lower that and keto friendly and all sorts of stuff. They got all kind of recipes and stuff sorted out these days. So I subscribe to a lot of online, menu sites, recipe sites. And I absolutely love looking at how they do things and getting ideas. And so I was just saving one from last night that I meant to send Stacy. I know Stacy's like, I'm not making all these, but they're so fun to look at in any event. So I really enjoy them. I say that to say that just as I went to grab the Facebook link, there was a recipe that I meant to pull out last night. Yeah. Okay. That was so weird yesterday. I had a really weird thing happen yesterday on Facebook. So I don't know what to say, except it was bizarre. Facebook is very temperamental. Whew, if I tell you guys the stress that it causes me, some of the really weird things that it does. And quite frankly, I just use it because I have no choice. What else are you going to do? Anyway, you get the good with the bad, and then basically you just kind of live with it. Oh my gosh. I see these death announcements this morning. 42-year-old. Oh, it's so sad to see young people. You kind of have this idea in your head that nobody's supposed to die before 50, right? But sadly, happens all the time. Oh, so sad. Oh, I'll read that one a bit later on. So I am doing well. Tomorrow is going to be 3 weeks post-surgery. Back to physio today. I was supposed to go yesterday, but unfortunately, my knee, um, my knee, my husband. Sorry, I'm looking for something online here that's obviously distracting me. My husband had work, so he's been picking me up, and he had work to do. So he had an emergency meeting about something. I don't even know. So he didn't get to come for me in time, which is fine. I said, all right. I got to get back mobile now, though. So I'm trying to get my car situation sorted out, hopefully today. Because his car was actually in the shop getting some work done. So hopefully I can get my vehicle back. And then once I'm mobile, you know that means trouble, honey child. No, I'm kidding. I can just be free again. I mean, nothing wrong with staying home because, like I always tell people, listen, you pay a lot for this mortgage of yours, of ours, you know? So the thing is, let's make sure that we are actually enjoying our homes. Because you, listen, why am I going to go out and stay in somebody else's house when I got to pay the bank for my mortgage? No, I'm not doing that. I'm staying my behind home, kicking out my feet, enjoying my life. Yep. Thanking CNB for the mortgage, but yep, gotta enjoy it because, you know, you're paying good money for it. What can I say? So I'm a homebody. I love being home, doing my thing. So, all right. Can I just give a big shout out to all of the Cayman Islands community? Because you guys are so amazing. There are times when I'm reminded of how amazing you all really are. And I'm going to give you a story. So last week, there's a lady that reached out about needing to get her, well, somehow her mother left or took a car key, a rental car key, when they were in Miami with them. And I don't even know how you guys do that. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So she accidentally, I guess, put it in her bag, came all the way to Cayman. I think it was Avis. And they were like, you need to get it back to us by this weekend, or we're going to charge you for the key. And I'm sure the key is like hundreds of dollars. You know how they charge for these keys, right? Replacement keys. And they claim they got to get it from the factory and all sorts of stuff. You would think that they would have spare keys at a dealer or the rental place like that. But there you have it. So anywho, so the daughter reached out and said, Miss Sandy, can you please post on your page, you know, that we're looking for someone going up this weekend to take the key for us? And I said, sure, no problem. Can I tell you the amount of people that reached out regarding, you know, yes, I'm traveling on Friday. Yes, I'm traveling on Saturday. Yes, it was just overwhelming. And I thought, you know, this is amazing. The number of people who just came forward. So thank you guys so much. I mean, so many of you were willing to. I was still fielding messages yesterday about this. And so many of you were just more than willing to assist. In the end, we found someone quite quickly, actually, who was going up on the Friday. And he called me and he said, is this key thing legit? As long as the person didn't steal the car, steal the key or whatever. And I go up there and find myself in some triangle of mystery. I was like, no, man. This young lady's on the up and up. It's all good. So he's like, okay. So he, you know, assisted her. But thank you to every single person that reached out. That basically was like, I'm traveling. First of all, I gotta say, not for nothing, but I was like, ooh, a lot of y'all are traveling. Where y'all going? School just started. Summer vacation is supposed to be over. But a lot of you were traveling this past weekend. And I guess people are always traveling in and out of Cayman. You know, sometimes we jettison up for a weekend. It was Labor Day weekend this past weekend. So maybe some of you are trying to get off island to catch a sail. I don't know. But thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of this young lady, Miss Tiffany and her mama. You guys were able to get that key safely back so that they weren't charged. It's like I said, it's really times like that that I am reminded of how amazing, this community really is. And everybody stepped forward. Caymanians, non-Caymanians, it didn't matter. There was no divide there whatsoever. So thank you very, very much. All right. Good morning to Miss Gina. Aisle 2025 says, Sandy, what food brand do you feed your dog? Mine is an open farm, but thinking about a cheaper but good alternative. I honestly can't remember which one by name. When I see the brand, I know it, but I don't know by name. But I can tell you it's not cheap. that I know for sure. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, that's probably not going to be it. But dogs are so amazing. I was watching a dog video this morning before I got in the shower about these two dogs who live in the same neighborhood. And they have forged this in the States, and they have forged this friendship where they go visit each other. They have play dates. I'm going to see if I can find it because it's such a heartwarming video. And, I feel like dogs are humans, good humans reincarnated. Like when we get it right and we come back as something better than what we are, we come back as dogs. They're just so amazing. Oh my God. They just have nothing but love to share. And once they have been properly trained and, they can be such wonderful little creatures. Now, listen, it's horrible, quite frankly, if you have a dog that you can't manage and, you let get out of control. As we have seen, neighbor's dog, it can be horrible when you have a killer dog in your neighborhood. Ugh. I hate to say, but I think one of them actually died because I only hear one lately. They got to live a lot longer than my poor Coco did, that's for sure. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really feel any sympathy about that situation because they killed my Coco. And there's so many times that I wanted to kill them. I can't even begin to tell you. But my heart just couldn't bring me to do it. But, some of you have dogs that you cannot control and they're very, very dangerous. And so I hate to say it, but I'm an advocate, I should say. Once a dog bites anyone or anything and you are unable to control your dog, the dog needs to be put down because these dogs can be very, very dangerous and very, very vicious. And of course, nothing happened. We have a justice system that, although I support most of the time, there are times that I know it doesn't work. I know for a fact. My apologies. Here, I'm opening a package. I know for a fact it does not work. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Let me not even think about that because I'm going to get very upset. Anywho, so yes, I do love dogs though, generally speaking. And you guys just gotta, a lot of it comes down to humans too. Like sometimes you just have socialized your dog really, really poorly. And there's some breeds that need a lot of socialization and a lot of behavioral work and behavioral training. But I also do believe that there's some dogs that you cannot control. And I've seen with my own two eyes some of these dogs. And, you have to know your dog's temperament and personality. Like Zeus and Coco are the same breed, but he's a very different dog. Only God knows why I named him Zeus, because he is a bad little mamba jumba. Boy, he really, he doesn't like people like talking to me like men and stuff. And yeah, you got to watch him. And he doesn't like the gardeners, some of them, and so forth. And so when they come around, he really, and I was like, simmer down, little fella. And then of course they get really scared of him and they try to, um, you know, run. And that's the worst thing you can kind of do. I know that's what you feel like doing, but that will only make him chase you more. But I got a little training collar for him. And he listens most of the time, but when he's very excited, obviously, So you got to know your dog's temperament. My dog, Oscar, used to be a little bit passive aggressive. He wouldn't really bite people, but he'd come and like pee on your towel. Oh my God, don't ask. But yes, he did that before, just some total stranger. Had me apologizing like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what got into my dog. But I knew he was passive aggressive from when he was a puppy. So I always was very careful with him around things that he, like food. Like if he was around kids with food, he would go in and push the kid down and just steal their plate of food. Not to bite them or anything, but he would just grab the plate of food out of their hand at, like a beach picnic. He did it before and then ran off. And I was like, what the heck? This dog is so embarrassing. And then one day he went to Spots and he saw some guy there minding his own business. And he saw the guy's towel. The guy was actually in the water and he went and peed on the guy's towel. I was like, what on earth is wrong with you? So that's how he is. That's how he was, little Oscar. He was such a special dog. As they say, there's some things that only a mother can love. I think he was kind of one of those dogs. His temperament was not really aggressive, but passive aggressive. Like he would do stuff low key that you were like, what are you doing? And then I had Rupert. Oh my gosh. Rupert passed away first. They were like children, this is before I had kids. And I love all of my dogs. I can't even say, oh, I love this dog more. I love them differently at different stages of my life and for different reasons. So Oscar was like my first dog as an adult that I got on my own. So he was so special for so many reasons. And he was like the runt of the litter, 35 pounds, terrier mix, like really stringy hair. But he was so funny. He was a dog that loved to dive, like really dive. He dived for rocks. Like when he came to Cayman, they took to the water like you would not believe. We used to take them before we came to like the lakes and stuff in Florida. So they did kind of really learn how to swim and they were really enjoying it. The other dog, which was Rupert, he was a year younger than Oscar. He was a lab mix. And he was the only dog that that's when I realized that dogs actually have a conscience. When I got Rupert, oh my gosh, you could see the expression on his face that he was sorry about something. He was a little bit challenging to potty train, whereas Oscar was like, bam, he never had an accident. He would pee on you on purpose. And that was a different story. Like I said, the dog was passive aggressive, but he would never have an accident. He was just an amazing dog like that. But if you weren't paying him attention, he'd come and like pee on your foot when he was a puppy. Like that was Oscar. So Rupert, on the other hand, really, really struggled to get potty trained. And so we had to crate him like a lot for him to really, but if he had an accident and you came home, you didn't even have to find it. The second you opened the door, he was at the door with his head hung down and this little puppy look like, I'm so sorry. And you could just tell that he had had an accident. His face said everything. And I'm like, this dog like legit has a conscience. And then after you'd like yell at him, like, don't do that again, bad boy. Then all of a sudden he was like, okay, I got chastised or whatever. I'm good. And then he's like, oh, I'm happy to see you now. It was the most bizarre thing, but he was such a lovely dog, so smart. Labradors have a reputation for being pretty smart, but he was amazingly smart. I mean, I think he might have been the smartest dog that I have ever had. He knew how to spell certain words. Like you would spell a word, he would recognize it. Like he knew outside, beach by saying it and spelling it. He was just really a smart dog. So he died first. And literally a month to the day later, Oscar died of just like a heartbreak. There was nothing physically wrong with him before. He just literally, his organs just started shutting down. He died from heartbreak. But people who've known me for a really long time, Mary and Melanie, oh my God, they'll know how I cried and I cried and I cried. I remember it was at the old Eden Center. I was at the vet there when they had to put Rupert down, and I just cried like I had literally lost a child, because I had. And so it's always difficult um uh losing a pet, their family. So, ay, what to do? All right. Oh, what's this? Anyway, I just say that to say this. That ultimately, they're special. And I want all of you to treat them with the love that they deserve, because they're just absolutely amazing. Don't get a pet if you're not ready. It's a huge responsibility. And so I say, don't do it if you're not ready. It's fine. Just like children, you don't have to have children, and you certainly don't have to have a pet, right? So yeah, they're just so amazing. I love dogs. I'm not really a cat person. I just am not. I don't know how to explain it. Cats are different. I think maybe cats are a little bit too independent for me. Like, they don't really care. But Jim says, and expensive. Well, they can be expensive. And, you've got to ensure that you have money set aside for them, because yes. Marshall says, it sounds like Oscar was spiteful. I don't want to use that word spiteful. I think he was a little bit passive aggressive. I think that was just in his nature, in his genes. But you would think that if he was like fully human, that he was a little bit spiteful, but he was just like, and he was on edge. Like, he taught me so much about just learning to love something that is a little bit different. He looked different. He had a crazy look. At one point, he chipped one of his tooth on a rock, because he used to go diving for rocks in the ocean. And he'd actually like to try to chew on the rocks. So he chipped a tooth on the edge, and he was fine. But oh my God, he would dive and you see the little bubbles coming up. He was just at the same time, with all of his quirks, he was still an amazing dog. You know what I mean? And I got him in a period in my life when I was kind of like transitioning, my last year in university, and changing relationships recently. And he was like my transition buddy. And he was just such an amazing dog. Yeah. I think all dogs are amazing, really, in a lot of ways. But Natasha says, I love dogs. I know, they're just so amazing. Get a dog if you're a responsible person. Evelyn says, Oscar was a naughty puppy. He was. But yes, I can't remember aisle 2025, the dog food. They always have to look it up when I go there, and they just get me the bag of whatever. I don't spare any expense really when it comes to my dogs, because to me, they're family. So when you budget, you have to budget in for them, budget in their grooming appointments, the breed of dog that Coco and Zeus were, they get a lot of they tear up a lot. And so they always get the little stains in their eyes. So that gets annoying. So, we have to groom him probably more than other breeds. I had given him a summer cut going into summer. So his hair is just starting to grow back. But I don't like them to be really long haired anyway. It's just a lot of work. And then they have that undercoat that gets matted easily and stuff. So I'd like him to have a medium cut, a shorter cut during the summer. So he's cool. But you know that you have to be careful with dogs, right? Because if you keep their hair short, especially a lighter dog, you have to be careful, because they can get skin cancer. And so the lighter they are, and you can tell by their underbelly, like the color of it, and their coat serves the purpose of like basically, their UV protection. So if you keep them shorter here, don't have them out on the sun, which you really shouldn't anyway, but don't keep them outdoors in the sun for long periods of time, because they can get like skin cancer in their noses and just other places. So be very, very cognizant of sun exposure. as well as for other things like heat stroke and that sort of thing. I'm an indoor person. I don't believe in having dogs. Strong Will says Oscar was just damn bad. That's Caribbean people fear, child. They'd be like, you better beat him. Oh no. Speaking of that, we need to circle back to our discussion about parenting. You know, the day that we talked about the mother who had beat her child with a broomstick, we did not, the conversations here are so fluid and so in the moment that I didn't get to circle back the next day on tools on what you can do instead of beating your kids, because some of y'all are lost for what to do. So we do need to do that. I definitely want to prioritize that as a show. But I hadn't read the comments on that story until after we did the segment. And I went back and read the comments. And can I tell you, I was flabbergasted at the things that you guys were saying. I mean, honestly, it is no wonder that our children have so many problems. I mean, mental and psychological problems. Because the number 99% of you were like, beat that child, do this. I was like, what the heck? It is an uphill battle. We got some work to do. Oh my God. You guys are so violent towards your children. Oh, I would tear it up behind up. I was like, no, sir. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It really makes me concerned for our children. I gotta be honest with you. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. It's been a minute.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good.
You called me yesterday. I would have given you a ride.
Well, I didn't actually realize he wasn't coming until like the last minute. And then I was like, oh, so I just rescheduled it. But yeah, I need to get back on my feet, literally. I need to get back to driving.
I just wanted to comment real quick about the whole parenting thing, right?
Yeah.
I think by the time you have a child who can so easily call their parent the B word, I think
something's gone wrong.
Parenting.
Exactly.
Either the child has a severe, something that it needs to be addressed, a severe behavioral issue, like a cognitive issue, or you've already failed. Because if you were parenting correctly, like all teens,
I can't even imagine,
or whatever, like my daughter who's almost 13 and she has her little attitude, but she would never.
Exactly. Yeah.
She would never. And I don't have to threaten her with violence.
Exactly.
She just wouldn't.
Yeah. So, no, it's crazy to me because I think, like I said,
you beat a child and you say, like, your kids are fighting, and then you go beat them. Don't beat your brother while you're beating them. What sense does that make? Like,
it's illogical. It really is. And I know people try to justify it because, oh, that's what happened to me and I'm fine. I'm like, you're not fine.
Are you really fine?
Exactly. Like everybody who, I've never seen somebody with real mental health issues be like, unless they've gotten, they've really gotten help already, be like, oh, I've got a problem. Because we all think we're fine until something horrible happens. And then we're like, oops, that's when something in your life kind of trips you and you realize, oh, I'm not really that fine. So
and
yeah.
I'm not 100% against spanking, especially at a young age when they're like it's a danger to them. Like they're putting their hand in the outlet. I'll slap their hand. Like that's you're either gonna get a slap or you're gonna get electrocuted. Like, but at a certain age and you have to know your child. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think even for emergency situations, if a child was about to get electrocuted, I wouldn't slap them. I would just grab them and say, "Oh my God, you're gonna get electrocuted." And then they know. And you know what? One of the strategies, right? This actually isn't today's topic, but I'm gonna share this kind of on the fly. Storytelling is extremely important to humans.
Absolutely.
And so one of the strategies with children, and they prove this in other cultures where storytelling remains a very integral part of their like history. They teach lessons of like danger, through stories. So they will tell these horrific stories about what happens when you go and stick your hand in the socket.
Or like the boy who cried wolf, right?
Yes. And so it's through those stories that children learn, like, oh, wow. And it apparently, there's been a whole study done on this, that it really has quite an impact on their behavior, because the stories tend to be consistent and relatable. And that is more impactful than physically hitting your child. And so I think we just have to rethink it. Like, we got to rethink why we're doing it, why we think it works when it actually doesn't work. Like I said, I hope that you guys aren't going out beating your dogs. Why would you beat your kid? You're not beating the cow if the cow does something that you don't want it to do. So I just think
How do you know?
Lord, I know.
People probably do that too.
Oh my God. Seriously. Yeah. But we need to have a reset, because the world in which we live in is full of so much violence already. And you're just teaching your children more and more that violence is the answer. And I think that that's something that is extremely dangerous. But
yeah,
we wonder why there was another study actually.
That's what they learned.
That's right. And there was a groundbreaking study using brain scans that recently revealed that children who were exposed to intense family conflict actually show brain changes similar to those people who went through combat, like similar to combat veterans, people who actually went through warfare. And that is what your child's brain looks like. So you can imagine, right? Let's put that in context. Like, say this young lady, I don't know, again, about the dynamics of her family, but I can't imagine that she's not growing up in a non-chaotic environment. So if she's constantly being, and bombarded with all of this chaos, aggressive arguments, domestic tension, this isn't even physical violence. Listen carefully to what I'm telling you. The research found that kids who witness chronic yelling, aggressive arguments, or domestic tensions have altered brain activity in areas linked to fear, stress, and emotional regulation. Same regions that are often affected in soldiers who are returning from war zones. So think for people who say, oh, beating you're not gonna harm you, spanking you're not gonna harm you. If yelling, screaming, and intense arguments can harm you, why wouldn't physical contact harm you? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. So we got to start, we have to really start accepting. I kind of chuckled when somebody in the comment section said, boy, leave it to Caymanians to not be willing to accept, science-based evidence for something, because we think we know it all because our parents did it. It's a mess. But thank you so much, Elizabeth. I miss you.
We soon link up.
I know. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. We'll talk soon. I know, right? And I'm feeling the afternoon activities, which as much as I can, girl. Tutoring, pickleball, tennis, everything. I'm like, go to your after school activities, kiddo. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Aisle 2025 says parents need to stop cursing in front of their kids. They need to stop cursing, yelling, fighting. None of that is good for your children. Aisle 2025 says, I agree with you. There are better ways to discipline. And I suspect that people don't utilize those better ways because they were never exposed to it. And so they just don't know. And what you don't know, you don't know. But we've got to be willing to change. There are resources out there now. My apologies, where there are little excuses for this continued aggression towards your children. Lourdes says exactly, I am not a mother, but I would never, ever beat a living thing, human, dog, cat, etc. Animal, actually. Our seniors are the same. Yeah. Shaka Zulu says, lashing out at a kid in any form, physical or verbal, teaches a child conflict resolution in more ways than one can imagine. Rewiring their poor little brains. War zone veterans, that's like crazy. All right, we'll come back to that conversation another day. I want to talk about Cayman Brac, and I know we didn't get to have this discussion yesterday. So I don't want to put it off. Big shout out to my Brackers. But we gotta talk. We get to talk, honey child. We have got to talk. Oh yeah. We've got to talk because I am not surprised at the hot mess that is that school project. The current minister, the Honorable Ralston Anglin, had a press conference on Friday. We weren't here, but we live streamed it. And CMR actually broke a story that day about the accommodations block. Oh, God, another mass shooting in the States? Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. Hold on. Is this happening now? Oh, North Carolina City, in a quiet North Carolina city. Well, I guess it ain't quiet no more. At least 1 dead and 11 injured in another mass shooting. Lord Jesus. Oh, America. I can't even. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Oh, I can't. Oh my God. So sad. Okay. So, let me say that I'm not surprised at anything that's happening in Cayman Brac in relation to the project that was, as you will recall, very, very much pushed through, right? So Juliana O'Connor Connolly, the former premier and Brac, she's still Brac representative, but former premier, really shockingly, but not shockingly, decided to move forward with the school project with no business case to support the project, a declining school population, because like we said, she just wanted a vanity project. Something that she'll be able to look back on and say, oh, this is my legacy. They're eventually going to name that school after me. Please, Cayman Brackers, I know y'all love her and you still elected her, but don't name that school after her, because this is going to end up costing the people of the Cayman Islands so much that we are going to regret this for generations to come. Name a cemetery after her or something deadly. And it shouldn't be the school. And I'm being a little bit facetious, but not really. Like, I'm dead serious. Don't name that school after her ever. You know, name a road to nowhere after her, the one that falls off the cliff on the bluff, because this woman has put her ego before common sense. She's not an unintelligent person, but she's put her ego and vanity project before common sense, before her own people, before good governance, before good fiscal responsibility, all of those things. We are dealing with a $64 million deficit right now because of her and all of her other cabinet members and all of the government at the time. All of them are equally responsible. But she pushed through a lot of projects in that last 6 months when there were the I should call them the Fantastic Four that ended up resigning. And those projects are costing us money. You guys heard when Franz Manderson and the premier was on last week. Let me just send something to Renee real quick. Okay. When they were on last week, where basically they said that there's a hiring freeze now in place. Remember, I brought up the question? Okay, 1 second. That there's a hiring freeze in place because of the fiscal position that we're in. Well, we are in the fiscal position that we're in because of her. And that's why I said to France, I can't let my little Bobo off the hook now, you know. I might like him, but I have to hold everybody accountable. I said, hold on a second. You're not the same person that was saying to us at the time, oh, we found a savings in this area of our budget for POCs, and that's why we can afford to give all civil servants an across the board raise, plus another honorarium. You were sitting there, Mr. Manderson, saying that, yeah, we got savings. And I said to myself, hold on a second. I'm no mathematical genius here. I don't have a finance degree, but a little tips of common sense says to me, in government, you can't claim to have savings in one small sliver, one small department, when your spending overall is in total chaos. How is that possible? Because your budget comes together as a singular budget. Remember I said that at the time? Those of you who've been paying attention? I said, this doesn't make any sense. A small savings in one area does not mean anything when the bigger picture is in chaos. So I knew that we were going to be in a deficit. Again, doesn't take a math genius to see what was coming. I was like, here we go. I warned you guys. Even some of these so-called civil servants, Cindy, they were, oh yeah, I'm so glad for that little honorarium I run in Miami to do a little shopping, blah, blah, blah. I was like, girl, if you know what is going to come down the pipeline as a result of this, because there will always be a price to pay. You're going to pay the piper one way or the other. As they used to say back in the day, remember the little now laters? Now or later? And it's not much later that here we are now paying for it. Right? They were hemorrhaging money. And one of the big projects, HSA was hemorrhaging money. All these government departments were hemorrhaging money. She was actually forcing, because a lot of the SOGCs didn't have the money to match what she was doing. But because she did it, all of a sudden, Cayman Airways, HSA, SEMA, all these, SAGCs, and there's a lot of them out there, were like, oh man, even if we don't have the money, now we got to find it. Because our staff are looking at us wonky-eyed, like, oh my God, the core civil service got a minimum pay and an honorarium and this and that, and we not getting nothing. So they were pressured to spend money that they knew they did not have. And how did they get it? They went back to core government. Okay, y'all giving an honorarium, talking about you got savings and POCs. Cayman Airways needs some injection to pay, to come up, to step up, keeping up with the Joneses. We were trying to keep up with the Juliana O'Connor Conleys. That's what we were trying to do. And so Cayman Airways had to go beg some money. HSA had to go beg some money. And that should have never happened. Good morning, caller.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's somewhat of a criticism of the current government.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat of a criticism. So the two pieces of land that they recently purchased, the lighthouse in the Brac and the lighthouse here.
Yes.
100%. I'm glad they purchased them, 100%. But where did that money come from? If we're in a deficit, I'm saying, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm glad we have those properties, 100%. But where did the money come from?
Well, listen, unfortunately, governments run in a deficit. And I think, and we have to ask the Honorable Ralston Anglin this question, I think that unfortunately they had to muster up some funds, and we don't know the terms of the contract. So the terms of the contract might be, here's an offer to purchase, but we're actually not going to pay you for the land until maybe the next fiscal calendar, budget, or whatever. Sometimes those things happen in the real world, right? So they're not necessarily paying it right now, but they have put in an offer to purchase, and the offer to purchase has been accepted. Those are the details that I would need to know about the transaction.
That's the details, and I hope they're transparent, even if it means they just say, well, we're just going in a more deficit. I mean, I'm kind of okay with that and kind of not, because we needed those pieces of land.
Yeah.
But they need to be transparent, and they need to tell us, like, this is how it happened, because
Yeah. And
people
it's
are going to question, like, how are they criticizing the past
yeah.
government? They're also,
Well,
so
we
I
need we
think they
need
to be
to
transparent.
yeah, we definitely need to and I've already reached out previously to Mr. Anglin, but I know they're still busy working on their policy statement and a few other things, but we definitely need him on the show to explain this whole situation with the deficit. But here's
Yeah.
the thing, the reason why I'm having this sort of preemptive conversation, right, about spending and money is because now we're going to get to the point here in a minute where we talk about $8.5 million that we spent on something that we can't even use. So that's where I'm going with this Brac conversation. Now that is a complete waste of money. We getting there.
It's one thing to go into a deficit for things that you actually need.
Yeah.
Right. Versus things that
you don't need.
You either don't need or can't use. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're doing baby
Devil's
steps.
advocate here.
Absolutely. And, like I said to Kenneth Bryan yesterday, MP Kenneth Bryan, we're asking the questions of all of our representatives. Nobody gets a free pass around here because this is our life. The more of a deficit, I mean, look at the US with their $1 trillion plus, the more of a deficit this country goes in, the more likely that my child is going to have a difficult time even living in this country. Your children, us as seniors, because we still got another good, hopefully 30, 40 years on these bones, right? So we got to live here. So all of these things are going to impact us. We need to get it together. Fiscal mismanagement, fiscal irresponsibility, we cannot have. Now, Elizabeth asked very probative and good questions. I like that question. And we need this current government to come in and explain that to us. Those are some big ticket purchases. So they have spent $2.3 million on acquiring a lighthouse. I just confirmed this yesterday in Cayman Brac. I needed to know, how much that was. Not Cayman Brac, in Grand Cayman at West Bay. And then they've acquired another one in Cayman Brac that was, did I try to remember if they told me how much that one was. Someone just mentioned that it probably came from the Environmental Protection Fund. That is very, very possible. And very likely, because that fund is a fund that is meant for, protecting environmental. And listen, what I will say to you is if that is the case, and that's where it came from, that makes total sense. Because ultimately, that's what that fund is for. What we saw under the last administration is they were raping and pillaging that fund for things that had nothing to do with the preservation of our land or our environment, but actually quite the opposite. They were dipping into the Environmental Protection Fund for other things. So let's wait and see if we can get a direct response from the Minister of Finance in terms of exactly where the money came from. And then we can, because, like I said, they might have savings in certain areas, but overall, they are in a deficit. So this ridiculous spending has really put us, and I see, where's Kyle this morning? I see him posting on social media. He's been going on and on about, that we had election a couple months. Well, now, and why don't we have a lottery yet? And I was like, he says elections happened like 13 months ago. Elections just happened in March. So it was no 13 months ago. What's going on with the lottery? So I'm surprised that these types of things need to be explained to y'all, but I'm also not surprised. And this is where the government, the premier, their communications arm, this is where I always say to them, y'all need to explain things at the lowest common denominator. Because Kyle is a voter in this country. If he is thinking, why don't we have a lottery yet? Why haven't you done this yet? The people have spoken at the polls, blah, blah, blah. And you guys have not even really touched on this, although they have, because I asked the question about when will these things come into effect? The premier answered it. But as usual, Kaya wasn't really paying attention. That's why you've got to say it, this channel, that channel, all over the place about 1 million times before people actually hear and comprehend the message. The lottery can't be a priority when you have a $64 million budget. You do realize that if we have a state-run lottery, that is going to cost us money. That ain't something that out of the boat you're going to start making money on. You need a legislative infrastructure to set it up. You have got to, you're going to need some kind of physical infrastructure. How's it going to work? Where is money going to be? There's a whole, it's going to literally take, in my estimation, to set it up properly. If you had a whole team dedicated to it, maybe you could do it in a year or less. And we would be wasting that kind of energy and resources on a lottery to encourage y'all to gamble away your hard-earned money because, help me understand this now, that can't be a priority for government that's in a deficit, that needs to find money to finish that Brac school. Needs to find money to feed your children their free lunches at school. How does a lottery become a priority? But this is, again, where the people are even confused. They're confused about what they want and what they're doing and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. So I tried to respond to him like, dude, nobody ain't focused on no lottery right now. If the government was focused on that, I think we would really have a problem. Right? It's just nonsensical. And you have got to be honest with your people. If there's a certain, I don't care how many people it is, or well, where's my lottery? I need a lottery. You got to say, listen to me. They're not coming down the pipeline no time soon. Just give them a realistic expectation. You've not even begun to look at what that would mean or what that would look like for the people of the Cayman Islands. So here we are with a $62 million deficit. Someone called me yesterday and they said, Auntie, I think that it's going to even be more than that, because in that budget, are they not counting on the fact that they're going to be getting stamp duty for certain major projects, and is that actually offsetting the deficit? Now, I spoke to a well-placed individual who said, no, that's not, because the person said, wouldn't the deficit be more? So I've been told that no, that's not how that works. But the person makes an interesting point that the government has certain projections that they're waiting on financially, including some massive projects, such as GT, that they're going to get probably like $20 million worth of stamp duty off of that. But I don't think that has any impact on the current deficit of $64 million. That's what I've been told, respectfully, from a very, very well-placed source. But again, like I said, we need the minister to come and explain the details and some of these things so we can understand exactly how this works, right? So 64 million in, the person's opinion's like, nope, it's going to be closer to 100 million if those stamp duty, forecasts that we're supposed to be getting in doesn't happen in this fiscal year. I've been told by a very well-placed source yesterday, I checked, and they said, no, that's not how it works. We're at about $64 million. Okay? Now, the beginning of the year is when government gets the bulk of its money into the government coffers, because we get that from like all the fee structures. So, company registration has to be paid in, I think, by March. A lot of registration stuff, renewals of things happen in the first part of the year, right? You're responsible for paying licensing and fees and whatever. So a good portion, I don't know what percentage, somebody write that down for me to ask the minister when he comes on. A good portion of our money comes in within probably the first 6 months or less of the fiscal year, right? And then after that, it trickles off and you're not getting as much. You might have some new funds being set up or whatever that, yes, if they're growth in insurance or mutual funds or whatever, that those things will then be reflected with the new setup, the new corporate setup and whatever fees that they pay. So $8.5 million now. Let us reflect carefully on this point. We have an accommodation block in Cayman Brac that was sold to us. We were sold a bill of goods, as they say in legal terms, that simply did not, and really, quite frankly, never did add up. So in her brilliance, not only was Juliana O'Connor Connolly willing to spend on a school project that we had zero business case for that supported it. We had a business case, but the business case didn't support it. That's why she refused to release the business case. Then in her brilliance, she said, oh, we're going to build an accommodation block that is going to house the workers. Listen to this now. This is what we were told. It is going to house the workers. So that, I guess, that's a savings in a way. And then long term, it'll be, low income housing for people in Cayman Brac. I always thought it was a little bit fishy. I was like, accommodations for construction workers. So you get a quote on, give me 1 second. Because there's quite a okay. There's quite a bit of backstory to this that really is important. So she said, and I'm going to pull up some pictures here, that we would be building an accommodation block, which is going to be a government-funded 38-suite complex to house construction workers, primarily those involved in the new high school and gymnasium development, as well as visiting school and sports teams. So that, she's like, oh, we're going to multi-purpose and use it. Now, the thing that you guys need to be aware of, okay, is that this facility is right next to and this is why I want to pull up some maps here, because if you're not too familiar with Cayman Brac, you're going to start to get a little bit confused here. But when we wrote this story last week, and I had to get, this was on Friday, I had to get all the details for Renee to put the story together. We have to first understand it properly, okay? So it's not quite as easy to understand this. And then when I understood it, I was like, okay, it's even worse than I thought. Once I got all the details, I was like, what? Okay, let's follow this. You may have heard me discuss before that there is this building in Cayman Brac that nobody knew what it was really for. It was locked up for years, and I've been talking about this for years. It was locked up. Nobody was really using it. The AC was being kept at 60 degrees, and that's all we knew. And there came on Brackers who were like, Miss Sandy, what is this building even for? That building, we now know as hold on, let me tell you what it is. That building we now know as the multi-purpose hall. Yes, honey child. That is the multi-purpose hall. And so the Brac housing, let me pull up a map for demonstration points here, is built next to this multi-purpose hall. Okay? And then the Cayman Brac School is not far from that. So let me show you the map because I was like, where's all this stuff? This is what we're looking at. So you see there where that multi-purpose hall is? You see the Cayman Brac Sports Complex, the Cayman Brac Public Pool, right? And then you see those two little red boxes? Those are where the accommodation blocks were supposed to go. And then you see further up now is the new Cayman Brac High School. Everybody see that right there? Yes. Okay. So the multi-purpose hall, which is that little white thing there, right next to the housing blocks, was something that, again, under the leadership of Juliana O'Connor Connolly, was built No one knew what the purpose of it was, except she would use it for her little special project. Somebody said only used for Julie's fancy events when she wanted to use it. Nobody else could seem to get access to that multipurpose hall come hell or high water. So there's that. All right. So she came up with this argument about the need for this 10,000 square foot, 2 single-story buildings located beside the Cayman Brac Sports Complex and the multipurpose hall. Said it's going to be recurring accommodation. It was designed to resolve recurring accommodation issues for long-term construction teams, a bottleneck that she claims had hindered government and private projects on Cayman Brac. That's according to her. That was her statement back in, let me give you some points of reference here. We cross-checking and double-checking and rechecking everything. Those were her statements back in May of 2024. Remember? Ministry of District Administration and Lands. That was her. So this is when they were starting to push through the commencement of the accommodation block, which they said would be completed in November of 2024. Now, can somebody tell me when it was actually completed? Well, technically it's not completed because they can't get a CO. We're getting there. So as you well know, they did a groundbreaking ceremony in May of 2024. They said that this block was supposed to be completed by November of 2024. She was fast tracking everything in order to get all of this done because she knew that anybody who came in after them who believed in fiscal management would not be supportive of this level of overspending. And there would be cutbacks. Maybe her school would have even got axed completely if it had not started. Now it's impossible to kill it. So that's why she was fast tracking everything. Rush. Well, she rushed and go build this multi-purpose facility. Let me get some pictures here of what it looks like. Somebody says it's called Hurricane Hilton because it is also supposed to be a hurricane shelter, but it has actually, in fact, never been used as a hurricane shelter. And can someone tell me, by the way, when that multi-purpose building was completed? Hold on. This is where I got to start using my little AI tools now. When was the Cayman Brac multi-purpose, AI probably won't even know what it is, hall completed? Because it's been years, for sure. And it has, no, this is not right. It's telling me, it's giving me a reference point. The multipurpose hall also referred to, no. So yeah, so I knew AI would be confused because nobody knows. Maybe a Bracker can tell me. So it's thinking that it was this year, but we know that's not the case. It's been there for a number of years, right? And so folks, it is there, a completed building, but has never actually been utilized. Someone said definitely by 2021. It has never been utilized or as a hurricane shelter, and the people have needed it. Because Julie just running her own little private show there on the Brac. I can't believe you Brackers, y'all have got to stand up to your representatives. This woman has been on a frolic of her own for far too long, and the people of Cayman Brac have done nothing. Oh my gosh. Somebody else says, morning. Wasn't that building in the Brac referred to as the Brac Hilton? That at one time was supposed to be a hurricane shelter? Everybody's confused about what the building is supposed to be. So yes, it's supposed to be a hurricane shelter, never used as a hurricane shelter. We don't even know what the hell it's supposed to be. People would be asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't live in the Brac. So they put up the let me get the picture now. And if y'all in the Brac got any recent pictures of that construction site of the accommodation hall, I need to make a Brac trip, by the way. Do send through your pictures, but they have the accommodation block, quote unquote, completed, but they cannot get a certificate of occupancy. Now, stick a pin Because you know what I'm going to tell y'all? Here we go again, Bobo. Here we go again. This sounds awfully familiar, like the mental health facility. Y'all remember that fiasco? Y'all were trying to kill poor Sabrina on that? Oh, well, why she can't get that open? I'm going to tell y'all why. Because of slackness within the government, slackness in the civil service, and this is but yet another example. Please send me a picture of the accommodation blocks, will you? A pure and simple slackness. Okay? Now, when I heard, now we were all ready to ask the question at the press conference on Friday as to, because we're hearing the story now, the rumors, oh, the accommodation block is there, but it's not in use. Why? It's not in use. Why? There has to be an explanation in terms of what's going on. So we had to do some serious digging to put our little story together for you guys on Friday. Now, slap me bald-headed, but listen to this. You know why it's not in use? I cannot make this stuff up. You know why it's not in use? Because the system of the multi-purpose hall, the AC system, the fire sprinkler system, all that stuff is not even being properly serviced and maintained. Hold on now. Can someone tell me how much we spent to build this multi-purpose building? We're going to build a building, a government building, and not properly maintain it? Y'all have to tell me how that makes any sense. What is Public Works doing on Cayman Brac that they are so busy that the few little government buildings that they have, they can't maintain them? The Brac is so big. For the purposes of demonstration, this big. It's like when you have the little miniature violin that you're playing, that's how big the Brac is. And they cannot maintain the 1-2 little government buildings that they have. This is a relatively brand new building. And y'all have the audacity to make CMR find out that the so-called accommodation housing, which originally was supposed to be $6 million. But as I say every single time, I have never yet seen a government project come in on budget, definitely not under. It doesn't come in on budget and on time. This is another perfect example. She claimed this was supposed to be done by November 2024. How can it be done and you can't get a certificate of occupancy? Now we find out that the sprinkler system cannot be passed for the accommodation block. Why? Because they were not maintaining it properly. And so the whole thing done messed up. Wow. These things really make you go, huh? Yes, honey Jill. What a mess. You have a handful of buildings that you're responsible for maintaining. And you can't even do that. She talked about, oh, this is going to be, eventually we can use this as long-term housing for like low-income people or sports teams that are visiting, this, that. Again, no plan. There was no collaboration with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture to say, what kind of sporting events are you going to be hosting in Cayman Brac? She just made up stuff. Pulled it. It's like the magician who just pulls stuff out of his hat, but sometimes he don't get it right. He meant to pull out a rabbit, and here comes a squirrel or something else. That's what Auntie Julie was doing. That's what Juliana O'Connor Conley was doing. She had a hat full of tricks, and she's a trickster, and she was running tricks on us, and we don't even know it. Some of y'all don't know it. I knew it. I wasn't buying none of it. I'm like, something don't sound right. Yeah. So here we are, $2.5 million over budget already on the accommodation block. And then we find out, that's KYD, by the way, keep that in mind, okay? Then we find out that now the construction workers are on site, on location working, and we have to pay them extra money for housing elsewhere because they can't live in the accommodation blocks. talk about, y'all ask the question again. Why are we in a deficit? Are y'all serious? We're in a deficit because of politicians like her who have no regard. It ain't like, well, it's not my money. I don't care. That kind of attitude. She should never, ever be elected to public office ever again. Give somebody else a chance because this woman ain't it. My God. It's ridiculous. So we have a building. I need to talk about this. This is what we reported on Friday. And I know y'all don't like to read, so I'm going to break it down for you. Apparently, the, hold on here now. Let me pull up my little CMR article, honey child. The sprinkler system cannot pass because it's all frozen up. It doesn't work. I can't make this stuff up. And as a result of that now, they have to reorder it. It's a custom built system here. There's not something that you can just go out and say, oh, can we just order this and have this here in a month's time? No, 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 no. It's a custom built system because that's what y'all like to do. You like to custom build something that when it breaks, you got bringing somebody from Timbuktu to even diagnose and work on it. This is not value for money. When you have these contractors draw up these types of plans, y'all need to be asking questions that will save the people money. Why do we need such a custom system all the way from, Timbuktu? That when we find out now that the system, the pump has frozen up, so the pump in the multi-purpose hall, which is connected to the accommodation building, right, has failed. And to replace that pump, it's for the fire suppression system, and that's a necessity. To replace that pump now, you have to special order it all over again, and that is 12 to 18 months. 12 to 18 months is the manufacturer lead time. And with all the foolishness with supply chain and tariffs and whatever that's going on with Trump and his ridiculousness, that 12 to 18 months is going to be 24 plus months. Mark my word. It ain't happening in 12 to 18 months. Yeah? How is this possible? You have a building the government owns, and you are not making sure that the fire suppression system is being properly serviced and checked, and you go build an $8.5 million block of apartments, basically, that rely on this fire suppression system in the accommodation, in the multi-purpose hall, which, again, supposed to be a hurricane shelter. Heaven forbid the Brac gets a hurricane and you need it. You cannot use it. Because the fire suppression system, that's what they call health and safety. That's a big deal. You can't put people in a hurricane shelter where the fire suppression system not working. So right now that means that we have no use of the multi-purpose hall because you cannot have functions there. You cannot use it for housing for a hurricane shelter. Because if the fire suppression system is not operable, you can't allow people in that building. That would be the biggest lawsuit. And then there's a knock-on effect that the accommodation block is also inoperable. Those people, the workers, couldn't go in there, can't live in there. And now we have to spend money to house them here, there, and everywhere all over the island. Help me understand, my Caymanian people. How does this make any sense? We might as well have not spent the $8.5 million on the accommodation block. And you know the worst thing about it is Juliana O'Connor, Conley, and her government knew all of this. This was brought to their attention right before they got out of public office, right before she had the groundbreaking or the grand opening ceremony or whatever for the accommodation block. That is duplicitous. That means that she is a liar and she is treacherous for trying to fool the people of the Cayman Islands. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Good. I was just calling in to talk about, and I may have called too quickly.
Uh-huh.
This is Trevine Stewart, and I wanted to call about.
Oh, girl, thank you so much for calling. I haven't gotten to your topic quite yet.
Right. Yeah, I think I called the wrong.
Yes. No, that's
number.
okay
My bad.
because this is the right number. This is the show number. So this is the right number.
Okay.
But we are just dealing with a little hot mess in the Brac. So can you give me about
please.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
And then
sure.
please, you guys call me back because I do want to get to Palm Heights today as well.
Okay.
I
All right,
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No
I really
problem.
appreciate it.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
We got that exclusive for you in Palm Heights. And on 9:30 at Sandy. Try and behave yourself. Oh my God. Oh. I might have to double up on that blood pressure medication today, Dr. Sydney. Shall. I'm making make my pressure go up though. Okay. All right. So listen. This is one epic failure after the next. Yes? Mismanagement, a facility that's not being properly maintained, spending, it's like chasing bad money with more bad money, $8.5 million in the accommodation block. No one ever thought to say, let's check and see, since it's connected to the multipurpose hall, that everything is good with the multipurpose hall. You would have thought that the whole thing is a cluster blinkety blink of a situation, like legit. But this is Juliana O'Connor Conley. This is the fly by night operation that she's involved in. And y'all sitting here giving the woman pat in the back. Yeah, girl, you're going through. Yeah, you're such a good representative. 30 plus years. You've been sinking the people of Cayman Brac. And they keep reelecting you. Something is wrong with y'all Brackers. I want to know what y'all drinking in the water. Because it's not a right thing. Okay? Lord Jesus, what's going on? So, here's the thing now. They have this whole grand opening ceremony. Right before they got out. Y'all remember it? That was a farce. How you gonna have a grand opening ceremony for a building that you can't even get the certificate of occupancy for? But you know what? This isn't far-fetched, because it is the exact same thing that they did with Poinciana Point, or what do you call Poinciana Rehabilitation Center? My apologies to the residents of Poinciana Point. I keep mixing y'all up with that hot mess. It is the same situation. To prove a point, once the Fantastic Four resigned, they rushed to all of a sudden. I don't know how John did it. I don't know who he had to pay off or which buddy he had to go kiss their rear end, but he got a certificate of occupancy real quick for a facility that could not get one before. All of a sudden he could get it. But don't be fooled, my Caymanians. It is all a farce. He opened the building and then we hear there's a hot mess going on there. That facility should have never been open under the conditions that it was opened. It's all optics. It is to create an illusion that they're actually doing something, that they are getting something done when they are not. I tell you what, y'all need to pay attention. You need to pay very, very close attention to what is happening in this country. Because these people are hemorrhaging money. They can't get projects right. They continue to put us, the people of the Cayman Islands, in a deficit. And they just walk around like nothing wrong. They're all good. The world is just fine. Y'all will be fine. We need this Brac school. And they have sold you a bag of hot air. Not even good hot air that can do any good for you. This is a cautionary tale on what happens when we continue to elect people who don't really care about the people of this country. Stop being fooled by them. The flowery words, I must tell you, one thing I do admire about Juliana O'Connor Conley is she's very, very eloquent. Yes, she speaks well. Half the time she's speaking so well that she's actually misusing the words, but nobody not paying attention because it sounds awfully good. Right? Same thing. There's so many MPs that do this. Chris Saunders, he's another one. You sit down and listen to that man, you're like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. He's so smart. He's so intelligent. He knows everything about pensions, this and that, and da-da-da-da. Oh, he's a financial guru. And when I ask people who are actually in finance and who know what they're talking about, they're like, this dude not a financial guru. What he says things that can't even work in the real world. He's selling you guys a bag of hot air and the people keep buying into it. Now, I know a lot of you believe that that's what politicians are there to do, sell us a bag of hot air. That's their key job. It's not. We're paying them a salary to run this country and to look out for us, to look out for future generations, to be fiscally responsible. And they're not doing any of that. So listen to what she said. This was a quote from her back in the day. We are not just opening a building. We are removing a long-standing barrier to development. Cayman Brac is ready for smart, managed progress. Well, that's what she said. But I can tell you all, and I've got the reference here for it when she said it, and I can tell you all, none of this was April 2025, right before the election. None of this was smart. It's not smart. It's definitely not managed. And it's not progress. Stop being fooled. When they opened it, here's what she said. At the opening ceremony, emphasis on the accommodation block facilitating growth, neglecting to anticipate actual user demand. Well, we know that's a farce. Okay, so they had the groundbreaking ceremony. Let me get the date now. Hold on, honey child. I want y'all to have all this stuff to go back and cross-reference. Let me show you the picture of her. Right, yes, so. And the groundbreaking hard hat. Let me see here now. Right? Innovative accommodation block. That's like when these government people be sending out their little press releases. I don't pay them no mind, I said, sometimes we have to critically analyze these press releases because they're not rated. Okay, here she, oops, wrong one, hold on. There she is, looking all nice in her hard hat. Oh yeah, we doing something now. Look at me in my jacket and my hard hat. We getting stuff done. They're not getting nothing done. An accommodation block to be completed in 2024 that all now not open. It can't be completed if people can't move in. I'm just saying. That's not the definition of completion. So it's 2 single story buildings, each 5,342 square feet, 0.5, totaling 10,685 square feet. And they touted how it was sustainable construction, this, that, the next thing. Well, I need to go to Cayman Brac for more reasons than one. I actually need access to the multipurpose hall because you know what else I heard going on over there? So the multipurpose hall is full of mold. It's a health hazard. So yeah, y'all need to work out the fire suppression system because that don't work. And you also apparently have a mold issue now in that building as well that I'm sure will quickly transfer over to the accommodation block. Wow. What a mess. My God. Okay, let's get into some questions or some of your responses. Magdalene, says they've been sold the NAU pill. Ms. Marjorie says extravagance. That's that whole project. Talk the truth, Auntie Sandy, says Strong Wilt. Strong Wilt goes on to say, Auntie, because she was rushing it, that's why it's messed up. That's part of the reason why. But you also have to understand that this fire suppression pump would have failed, not just probably March. We don't even know when it failed because nobody was properly checking it. There's no maintenance of it as there should be. And why are we ordering a pump that has to be custom designed and custom built, and there's probably nobody in Cayman who can even service that pump? That's another question I have. There's just too many questions here. So we need the minister and his team to come on and answer some questions. He had a very brief press conference on Friday, but we have a lot more questions that we need answered. So Marshall says the same thing. Every project the government takes on always runs over budget, and that's been going on for years. Like I said, I've never seen a project yet that hasn't. Jonathan, good morning. Says not only are the powers that be unwilling and unable to contend with the criminal syndicates, which emanate out of Jamaica and Honduras, said powers that be are one and the same criminal syndicates. This is common knowledge, born out of the obvious lack of accountability when even a retired member of the RCIPS has his own fellow law enforcement colleagues get shot. Jonathan, are we on the same topic today? I'm pretty sure we were not talking about that, but okay. I thought you were going to get to something about accommodation, but I didn't hear it. Gabby says, how are they making her get away with all this? Well, Gabby, before having the discussion today, did you know any of this was going on? Some of you read the headline about the accommodation block, and I know some of you go as far as reading the first paragraph, and then that's normally it. You got to start pressuring your government officials with questions so that we can understand what is actually transpiring. Because if you don't know, if they're able to keep you in the dark, which by the way, historically, the government has gone to great lengths to do, even in terms of our, media questions, FOI questions, they're not going to tell you what the truth. You have to press and dig. I said to one of the ministers the other day, I said, listen to me, Bobo. To get this story done, I had to dig like I was in a graveyard, digging somebody's grave for 6 feet under. That's how much digging we had to do, and probing and asking this one question and that one question. I mean, it shouldn't really be that hard, but they're not going to bring you the cold hard truth. We got to fight for the cold hard truth. Scott says most of the government and civil service facilities management staff have no qualifications or training in modern facilities maintenance. They follow maintenance schedules or even know what they are. Oh, was there supposed to be a do in front of that? Do they? Question mark. Preventative, regularly scheduled maintenance, not a thing. It's why all the schools are falling apart from day one. Why they always in states of disrepair. Sorry. Okay. No space in there. Same for the police station, slackness. And, even the same thing for the Clifton Hunter School. Y'all know how much money we spent on that school. And from day one, that school has had issues with flooding and this and that. There was a design problem from day one. All sorts of issues at that school. It's deplorable. Oh, my God. It is just absolutely shocking. Really and truly. And again, they accept these projects. They make the handover happen because they're trying to rush it and pretend like, oh yeah, we're 2 years late, but we finally got the CO. How are you going to take over something? You hand it to the ministry, because remember how this works now, right? It's a ministry project, but really it's like other people, who's in charge of construction, normally public works, or it might fall on the district administration or whatever. And then they deliver it to the minister and the Ministry of Education. Why is the Ministry of Education in the past accepting projects with all sorts of problems, leaky roof, mold issues, all sorts of foolishness? It's irresponsible, quite frankly, if you want to know the truth. Oh my gosh. Pat says, so the idea to use Cayman Brac rental properties was never proposed before. Of course, that made sense. But she refused to, her brilliant idea was to waste another $8.5 million of money that she never had, right? To build this accommodation block first. They could have found rental in Cayman Brac actually is not that bad, you know. It's certainly a lot cheaper than Grand Cayman. So they could have found rental facilities for these workers. But she made a whole story of, oh no, we want them on site. They'll be right there and it'll be easier. And we don't have to worry about, external contracts and da-da-da. She had all these arguments in favor of why we should have this accommodation block, these two accommodation blocks built. But guess what? There was a lot of fault in her arguments. And people were really, really picking it apart. So we as a people have got to do better. Okay? We have got to do better. Somebody says, let me grab this comment here. Give me one quick second. Thank you so much. And I'm cognizant that these young ladies are going to call back. So I do want to wrap it up just a little bit. And then we're going to get to the Palm Heights situation because clearly they need their behinds to be lit up this morning as well. But this person makes a very good point. This is all about fiscal responsibility, folks. And we are proving time and time again that our people simply do not have what it takes. When I say our people, I'm talking about the elected people. They don't have what it takes to run this country. Y'all need to straighten up. What's this verifying update? What's going on this phone? I was cognizant of yesterday when Kenneth Bryan said, oh, people can be scared to run for public office because of you, Sandy. And I was like, because of me? It's not because of me. Y'all don't have your life together. That's what y'all, because CMR not joking around. So yes, we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to talk about your bad behavior. And so that's going to make you not run for public office. Good. You shouldn't run because you're not ready. Your life is a hot mess. Okay, give me 1 second here. Multitasking. All right, so look here now. I have a comment here that I think is worth sharing. Thank you guys so much for all of your comments, by the way. This one breaks it down very succinctly in terms of the fiscal part of it, the money that we're wasting. You got to think about when you look at the per person spend or the per unit spend, you realize that this project never, ever made any sense. Seriously. All right. Give me a second here. The computer's running a little bit slow. I'll have to restart this after the show. For 38 rooms, that's about $225,000 plus per room based on the $8.5 million. Square footage wise, at 10,665 square feet, that works out to be nearly $800 per square feet. You can build homes on the Brac for about $250 to $300 per square feet. These are like dormitory rooms with shared living facilities. So even from the perspective, somebody says they look like barracks as opposed to residential accommodations. Even from the perspective of how this makes any sense to build it, you can see that we were wasting money from the onset and it never made any sense. You would have been better renting out the facility. I think I got too many windows open now. Marlon would tell me, close some of those windows. You would be better off renting out accommodation for the workers and you would have saved yourself a lot of money. This never made any sense. My goodness. Auntie Julie, this means that you don't care about your Brackers, none at all. You cared more about your ego and your vanity project than anything else. I'm so disappointed. And I'm disappointed when Cayman Brackers sit down and make ridiculous arguments. Well, Sandy, we needed a new school. I never said y'all didn't need a new school, but you don't need this school. You don't need this overbuilt facility. right? Yes, you need a new school, but let us be purposeful in how we spend the people's money. Let us be mindful that your spend and your deficit created impacts all of us across all 3 islands. As Sarah Sue said yesterday, I'm going to quote her words. These are the Cayman Islands, plural. We are all in this hot mess of a situation together. Yeah. And so, if we're in it together, right, we can't allow vanity projects to be built for the sake of stroking Juliana's ego. And you Cayman Brackers should not sit by blindly and think that there is nothing wrong with this. You should have really spoken up quite a bit more. And unfortunately, you have not done so. Your go-to position is, oh, well, we needed the school. We needed a new school. I'm not saying that we don't need a school for Cayman Brac, but you also have to recognize that the same reason you don't have a school up until this point is because of her and Moses Colonel. They've been there. She's been there for almost 30 years. And Moses for 20 years. So who else you blaming? And every single time they have had a ministerial position for the Brac, because we can't dare not give the Brac a ministry, because y'all would, oh God, y'all would have a fit. Oh, we got protest then. All 20 of you. You know, I'm not trying to hate my Brackers this morning, but I'm saying y'all need to be held accountable for this behavior. Seriously. So you have the same people there elected for 30 years who never gave you no new high school. And then all of a sudden she can jump up now this term when she claimed she was resigning. I told y'all that was a lie too. All of a sudden now she's giving you a new school, and she's overspending and making it absolutely ridiculous. But she created the problem to begin with. So you should be blaming her for the problem. Y'all see the logic here? Because there is logic in what I'm saying. What she's doing is she's responsible for holding down Cayman Brac. You know, oh, we don't have no development. We not got this. We not got that. Talk to her. What has she done to assist and to forward things on Cayman Brac? A whole pile of nothing. That's what she did. Okay. Let me pause it there because I'm cognizant of the time. And I do want these young ladies to call me back. Let me see. They were calling on the show number. I think they're probably traveling because I noticed that they were calling from overseas. So let me see here now. And they were doing it was a dual call, a group call. So let me just tell them, ready. Oh, Denny, unless you're going to be quick now, I don't even want to answer your phone call. Make it quick, Bobo, because we got some guests calling. Oh, God, why can't I not hear you? Oh, hold on, Denny. I could hear them earlier. I don't know what's going on. Hello? No.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
now?
yes, there you go. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We got our group call. Let me take this.
It'll be quick.
Okay.
It'll be quick. I don't understand why you're blaming Julie.
I'm blaming the people. Ultimately, I'm blaming the people.
Well, on the elected side, it's all of them. She's just the.
Absolutely.
All right, because you got to share the.
No. And I said that earlier. Crystal clear. Okay, hon.
All right.
All right. Let's switch gears a little bit. Young ladies, good morning.
Good morning. It's just me today, Sandra.
Oh, okay.
This is Trevine. Yeah.
Tell me.
Caught up.
Okay, no, I totally understand. So we saw this video, and I'm gonna play it because probably some of our radio listeners haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. But this is basically a video of you talking about an experience that you had at Palm Heights. Give us a little bit of background information. When were you guys staying there?
So I was staying there last week, Thursday until Monday.
Okay. So, you know, you're a model, and I know you don't live in Cayman full time, so you're kind of all over the place, right? But you come home, I suppose, whenever you can, and you know, a little vacation here and there. And of course, there is no place like home. So you come home and you want to spend some time, and you know, enjoy some of the local accommodations. You're paying for the accommodations. I'm assuming that they're not comping
I
nothing for
am.
you.
No, they're not
Okay.
comping.
All right. Because, you know, when they get these celebrities from America, they be giving them everything for free. Because I know this.
They do.
Justin Bieber, they gave him everything for free. And he was a real ass, according to the workers, to even have to deal with. So one of the things that Palm Heights does, and trust me, girl, I have talked about them before. They're not a good company. Their owners are not good people. I'm confident in saying that because I've had to do too much reporting on them and how they treat their staff. And so I'm not surprised that now there's an extension, a question mark about how they're treating their local Caymanian guests, right? So the thing about it though is they have a reputation because they're paying for a lot of these ads and so-called articles that you see online about them, about, oh, this is an amazing boutique hotel in the Cayman Islands, and you see it in the travel magazines. They actually pay for those influencers to come and write about them. Now, you are an influencer, honey child, in your own right. You're a Caymanian influencer. For people who may not know who you are, give a little bit of background about yourself and some of your accomplishments.
Okay. So I am from the Cayman Islands, and I have left when I was about 17, 18 to pursue modeling in New York. I signed with an agency, and I've been like kind of bouncing around from city to city. So I've been signed worldwide. I was a Nike model. I'm on Vogue. I'm on ID magazine. You know, all the things. And I've been modeling since then until now. And I have a company with my best friend. Like, we just started a company called St. Cayman. We invented a product. And we also have a swimwear line. And we also have a modeling agency where we mentor young models coming up and just giving them all the information that they need to enter into the industry before they go. And so that's basically our background.
Yes. So it's fair to say that you have accomplished a lot. You are, you know, an influencer. And so when you book your accommodations, right, you come and you stay there, do you think, obviously they didn't know who you were, because I can't imagine that if they knew who you were, that they would have been treating you as some kind of third-class citizen in your own country. But what did they say to you? You know, you shared some of your experiences, but you come, you check in, and somehow, where were you guys when they started questioning you about taking pictures and if you were a local and that sort of thing?
So at first we were at the bar and they came to us and they're like, "Hey ladies, it's happy hour. Do you guys want drinks?" And we're like, "Well, we don't really drink. Can we have virgin, like a pina colada?" And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And so we were about to film where we were at the bar outside, but it was so hot, and also there were other people there. So we were like, let's just go into the private lounge. They have two lounge areas, one where they register and check in guests, and the other one where people can work out of. So we decided, let's go in the check-in area since it's after 5, check-in is done. There's nobody in that room. So we go into the room and we set up our little tripod and we're just recording content. We didn't have any professional cameras or anything.
Yeah.
And we see the guy who is the maitre d'. He comes and he tries to open the door and he like signals. And I thought that he was asking us if we were okay. So I was like, no, we're good. And I give him a thumbs up. So he runs off and we're there recording and we pause recording. He comes back and he like swings the doors open. And he's like, "You can't be in here recording. You need to come out. You got to come out. Nobody should be in here. You cannot be in here." So I was like, Oh, I was like, oh, I didn't know that we weren't allowed to record in here. I'm like, can we go to the next room next door then and record because we were in there earlier. Um, and he's like, no, 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 you cannot record in any of these rooms. You can't record anywhere. And I was like, okay, that's
Wow.
so weird. And he had like a group of people with him. I don't know if they wanted to come in the room. I don't know if they were just standing there. So we leave and we go to the pool and we're sitting there and I'm like, that was so weird. Like that didn't feel right at all. Like I've seen people in there recording, so I really don't understand what just happened. And then one of the servers came over and they're like, hi ladies, are you going to pay for your drinks? And we were like,
okay.
First of all, we tried to pay for the drinks, but we told you we were sitting here and we told you the room number and to just charge it to the room.
Right.
I've been here all weekend long, so there's no reason I can't just charge it to my room. I've been doing it all weekend. And the day before, I had a party of 15 of our family that we flew in, and we were having dinner there at Tilly's. Anyway, he was like, well, we looked for the room number and the last name and we can't find it. So you have to pay. And I was like, what room number did you look up? And they told us the room number. I was like, that's not the room number that we told you though. I was like, this is the room number. This is the last name. I am a guest here. Go and look again. So he went and he came back. He's like, oh, I apologize. We had just put in the wrong room number.
Wow.
You know, I was like, well, we just got run out of that room and told that we weren't allowed to film in there. He's like, oh, no. He's like, if you're staying here, you can film wherever you want. You can film in the room. It's like, it's just that, you know, we don't allow locals to be here after 5 and the locals aren't allowed to use the facilities. So we just thought that
after 5.
Yeah.
So if you were local, this doesn't make any sense, but let me try and understand this. So if you were local there for, I don't know, dinner for the day, whatever, having drinks, it's like Cinderella at 5 o'clock, you better get out or some clock is going to tick and something's going to happen. What the hell?
Right. They're like, they don't allow locals after 5, and especially to use the facilities, they don't allow it at all. And I was like, okay, but we're not, I'm staying here. I'm paying to stay at this hotel. Like, yeah, well, we're sorry. We didn't know. And I think somebody just put the wrong number, the room number. And I was like,
oh my
okay.
God.
And so I went to management and I told management what happened at the front desk. And they were like, what? They were like, but your name is on the room. So I don't understand it. You've been here all week. And she asked who it was. I told her who it was. And she said, oh, you know, I think he's new. So he doesn't understand how it works. But yeah, I apologize. I was like, I don't think you should be apologizing. I think he should be apologizing.
Exactly.
And he needs to know that you can't just assume because 2 people look local or like that they're not staying here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's ridiculous, actually.
I was really confused.
Yeah. And you know, it begs a lot of questions because listen, we have, and I've got some pictures up of you and your business partner and yourself here. And you know, it's crazy because every once in a while, you know, even myself recently, we did a little staycation for my daughter's birthday at the Indigo. We had a great experience. But you want to, there are times when you don't necessarily want to travel anywhere else. You know, you're actually coming in from overseas, but you want to enjoy the beautiful things that so many people pay a lot of money to come to Cayman and enjoy. You're willing to pay it. I'm willing to pay it sometimes at these resorts and experience it and just relax and have a good time. Keep money in the local economy. But then we've heard way too many stories of people being treated as second-class citizens just because they are a local person or they look local. You know, because sometimes they be up in their feelings about somebody being local and they're not even. You know, they make assumptions. But I think that when you have a different set of rules, a different set of, attitudes or whatever. When you're dealing with someone local versus someone overseas, they're going to get a different level of customer service. It really begs a lot of questions about, is this a prejudicial situation that's actually happening here? And that's the real question, right? Yeah. So that's where I am concerned. And I wanted you to kind of share firsthand exactly what you experience, because we have heard on more than one occasion from different facilities around the island where sometimes they're really treating people differently. And, I always try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe this person was kind of, hypersensitive reading into this, but I'm really confused, woefully confused by your experience and what they said to you.
I'm confused as well. Like, we spend so much money at that facility, and we got massages and all that, and even the day before, we should have known that something was off, because my best friend called to book us a spa treatment, and they were like, well, she asked if she could pay for it over the phone, and they told her, no, you can pay for yourself, but you're not allowed to use facilities, and she will have to pay for herself. Because if you're not staying at the hotel and you're local, you're not allowed to use the rest of the facilities, and you can only pay for yourself. And so we thought that was weird, that they wouldn't allow, if I'm staying there and I have a guest, why can't we both use the facilities if I'm paying to stay there?
Exactly.
It was just a weird experience altogether.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And when you think about the fact that they try to roll out the carpet for others, for celebrities and whatever, it really is shocking that you got this kind of treatment. Like, I'm still like, what? And I know you didn't go in there saying, hey, look at me, I'm a supermodel. And,
No.
I'm sure you didn't do that. But again, you shouldn't have to do that to get good customer service.
And you know what, Sandra, there was this white lady that walked in, and she was walking behind us, and we could hear her talking about one of the celebrities that was staying there. Her name was Emirata. And she was like, oh my God, did you see her? Yeah, we just pulled up. And we're just here. And they didn't run them out. And they weren't even staying at the hotel, but they were there because the the supermodel was there, and they kind of followed her in from the
my
boat
God.
and just wanted to like be around her, I guess.
What do you hope? I'm sure the management of Tilly's is listening. I'm not so sure that they care, because although the property is owned by DART, it is managed by these individuals who are they've created this persona. We didn't even know how legit their persona is, but they've created this persona of being like ultra rich and this, that, and the next thing, whatever. But yet they be working their poor, staff like slaves, making them literally take a toothbrush and scrub between the tiles. Like, they've had some real egregious infractions before, which, by the way, I'm sure had you known about those, you probably would not have stayed there in any event. But, they just don't seem to know how to treat people. They've breached our laws in terms of like planning. They had up a facility, planning enforcement had to go down there and make them take stuff down as part of their spa, because they're like, you never applied for this and we don't know if it's safe. Take it down. I mean, they've just done the most. But if they're listening this morning, let's assume that they're listening. Let not even them. Let's assume somebody from the DART organization is listening. And now you have your experience. You have the experience of knowing that they breach other things, labor laws, all this other stuff, right? They've had people on permits who, they're in one position but work in something else. And then once they heard us talking about the radio, they go and try and clean it up. They're just a hot mess. What would you say to the DART organization? Maybe they need to take this facility away from them and have somebody else run it. That's all I'm saying. But what would you say?
I really think that there should be rules in place on discrimination, and I think that should be taken very seriously, especially when it comes to our locals. And I don't think that we should be treated in any kind of discriminatory way. Our money is just as good as anybody's money. And I don't think you should wait until crisis or COVID or anything like that to want the locals' money. And then when you are now good to go, you completely forget about us. And now there's boundaries and barriers.
That's right.
We can't come in we can't come and enjoy ourselves because we're local or we look some type of way, and you know
Yeah.
they don't want that aesthetic around the hotel. I think there needs to be some kind of rules in
Mm-hmm.
place for that. You can't go to California and they discriminate against you because you're local. That would never happen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like ever.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
And I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised.
yeah.
When I first got your video, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. Palm Heights all over again. So
So
we have some
crazy.
comments coming in. First of all, some people showing you some love, saying that you've made us so proud. So Tartarian says, Trevine Stewart, she's also the winner of the Caribbean Next Top Model, Miss Caribbean Cayman, and the list goes on. So proud of you, T. Let me see
Thank you. I
here.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh
Girl,
my god.
you've been doing so much. You've been doing so much. You're not sitting there keeping a
I
scorecard. You're
am
like,
not. I'm not. I'm trying to put us on the
that's
map.
right. On to the next project. So this person says that they stopped by there to have a drink. When I sat down at the
Mhm.
bar, they asked me what was my room number. I told them I live here, thinking he was starting a conversation. Then he said, we don't serve locals. You'll have to leave. I told him
Oh
that was
wow.
BS and left, and I'll never go there again. Wow.
Oh wow.
So, I mean, if they have a policy like that, shouldn't they? I mean, maybe they're not trying to be so bold about it, but obviously they're being bold. Why not just have a sign at the door say, listen, if you're a Caymanian, you're a Black person of color, whatever, Caymanian
They would never.
beauties. I know, right? Don't
They would
come
never.
in because we're not going to serve you. Because
Yeah.
it has to be embarrassing to be sitting at a bar and have someone tell you have to leave because you're local. Like, I can't even imagine how I would respond. Girl, y'all kept you cool
That's
though.
crazy. And I've heard that, it's all over the Caribbean, especially like Jamaica and stuff. Like I've heard that that's how the hotels are and the public beaches. So
Mm,
I am really like, I'm really scared that that's where we're headed.
sad.
At some point, we won't be able to go to our own beaches.
Yeah, well, depending on where you try to go now, they're already trying it. But, we have to educate people about what the laws and the rules are, even about beach access and all of these things. But
Mhm.
I am, well, Cindy says disappointed. No. Surprised. Hell no. So she feels
Mhm.
like, she said, this is why I told Caymanians not to support none of them during the pandemic. And I was one of those people during the pandemic. I did not go anywhere. I didn't do any
Yeah.
staycations. I stayed home. Like I was saying
Yeah.
this morning, I pay enough for my mortgage to try and enjoy my backyard. So
Right. But if we keep being silent and we're
that's
not
right.
going to
Nothing will
these places,
change.
then nothing will change, and they feel like they won, and
Mm-hmm.
they will only want the tourists to come, and that's fine because they're not receiving any pushback from the locals, so that means it's
Mm-hmm.
working.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's the answer either.
Yeah.
I think disruption is literally what they need for any change to be made.
Yeah.
And keep making a noise, keep making noise.
Yeah. And this person clarifies that they're a white, they said, I'm a white expat, just terrible, no local policy.
Mhm.
That's pretty crazy. So another person says, I, as a local, would never go to Tilly's or Palm Heights for anything. I tell other locals and visitors alike to never go there. Wow. It's pretty wild.
It's so crazy.
So I'm
We
so
recommend everyone there. So that's gonna change.
that's
Like,
gonna change.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just I'm disappointed. I really am. And we can try reaching out to them. They've never responded to any of our past complaints about their behavior. So I doubt that they will this time. Abby says Anna must have already forgot when Luca was telling us locals that we can only dine outside, no inside reservations. So there are times when these little things rear their ugly head. And I think
Yeah.
that, typical Caymanians, we want to get over it quickly. So we're like, oh no, whatever.
And we're so passive and so kind. But I
Exactly.
feel like that time has gone and you literally gotta speak up or nothing is going to change.
Yeah. So
Ever.
KK says, Trev is such a humble Caymanian lady, such a shame. I would never support this place because we would definitely catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people would have acted, listen, they're lucky that it was you, girl. That's all I'm gonna say, because a lot of people being like, "What the," even like the celebrities, like from overseas. If you tried some ish with them like that, they would have cussed you behind. This would have been,
You're going straight to court. You're getting sued.
yeah, this would have been an episode of
and then you're canceled.
Housewives of whatever. Exactly, total cancel culture for sure.
But, Sandra, I'm the type of person, I don't meet you where you're at because we're not the same.
Right. Straight. That is dope. Yeah. That is really dope. Sue says, "Oh my God, how embarrassing. I would have gone off. I'd be arrested." Miss Sue. Miss Sue, I cannot imagine you being arrested at your age, but again, given our police force, girl, they probably would have arrested you. This is like the Larry and Linda road rage situation. Denver says Minister Gary Ruddy should be addressing this issue. He's the Minister of Tourism. So I'm going to be very, very curious to see if our government has anything to say about this, because someone else mentioned that Michael Miles perhaps should issue a statement on this as well, because they need to be investigated, and this needs to be squashed. But here's the thing about it. With no legislation in place, you've rightfully said, we don't have any anti-discrimination legislation. How much power do the MPs even have? Because they themselves haven't put anything in place to make this illegal. I mean, it's unethical for sure. It's disgusting, but is it unlawful? There's no legislation there to say that it is.
So if they really want to make a change, and if there's somebody who really
legislate
make waves and makes history, then they need to change. They need to put some laws in place.
Exactly.
And be the first to do it.
Absolutely. Cindy says they look at us like they scorn us in our own island. And the thing about it is you're a paying customer. Your money is just as good as anybody else's money.
Yeah.
So
probably one of the richest Caribbean islands.
It's supposed to be.
We acting like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing about it, because you don't even live in Cayman, you could have said, "No, I'm not a local." I mean, I don't know how they were coming to the conclusion that you were. Just by looking.
Speak, he just saw us outside.
You see what I'm saying? That means that he was looking at you, and this was all about how you looked. Oh, she looks like she's a local.
Didn't say anything. They literally just came in, didn't ask no questions, and told us, "Get out, you can't make them."
Oh my God. Trisha says, "Can you believe this is where we are with tourism?" Gabby says, "I went to Indigo and I never had this experience with a Dart hotel." I want to be very, very clear. This is a Dart owned property, but it's not considered a Dart hotel because it's being ran by some third party. So they basically lease it out to somebody else. So they do that to some of their properties. Even what's the one there behind Indigo, the little place where you can go and have drinks or whatever. It used to be Calico Jack's. That isn't ran by the hotel itself. So that's not ran by Indigo. It's like separate management and whatever. But they do allow Indigo guests to use their facility. So Dart doesn't run that, but it's, but yeah, it's shameful. It really, really is shameful. Shaka Zulu says, Auntie Sandy, this behavior is imported by the expat workers, managers that came from other jurisdictions with similar behavior. And we have seen that, unfortunately, as well. But listen, if the management of a hotel or a facility make it very, very clear to their staff, we welcome any and everybody. We welcome locals. It's not one policy for them, one policy for somebody else. They wouldn't be so bold to have treated you the way in which they have. So I would have to say that they're obviously getting this. This is a trickle down, right? The workers are getting this mandate from management, and management has to be getting it from the owners.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
if they're protecting their hotel and their policies, who is protecting the locals?
Exactly. Lisa says, thank you, Trevine, for shining a light on this. There's way too many incidents with this property. Abby says, less Cayman kind and more Cayman spine is what we need.
I love
Hello. Absolutely. Denny says that politicians have been reluctant to officially and properly protect the beach access.
I feel like they need somebody to tell them that you guys have permission to protect us at all costs. Y'all have.
I mean, what do they
I'm
think we're
talking to
electing him
all the
for?
leaders. I don't know. But you have permission to go balls to the wall for the Caymanians because we also need protecting.
The most. You
Yeah.
know, we're already
Yeah.
endangered. There's so few of us left. And then we get treated like this. It's deplorable. I'm disappointed, like I said, in Palm Heights, but I'm not surprised. So next time you come to visit your beautiful home, where will you be staying? I know you're going to say not Palm Heights.
I don't know. I am open. I'll be looking into. I heard a few really cute bed and breakfasts that are owned by locals.
Yes. You see, I had an Airbnb, but I done put that in long-term rentals, so I can't help you there. It's a beautiful property. Right across from the beach, we would have hooked you up. Sue Parsons says, I didn't know this lady until today, but I'm very proud of her and how she handled herself in the face of that adversity. Girl, you got to go Google her. She is Cayman proud.
Absolutely.
She's got all sorts of modeling gigs and sponsorships. Damien says this is nothing new. Caymanians have been discriminated against since I was working in tourism from 1993. My God. Shaka Zulu says local celebrity discriminated against by a Grand Cayman luxury boutique hotel owned by the DART organization. I know DART is not happy about this because they don't like this kind of bad publicity. So yes, it's owned by them, but it's not run and managed by them. I do want to make that clear. Jesse, good morning, Jesse, says try to create an exclusive experience for those worthy. If you don't fit their desired aesthetic things, what you get. This is so not the Cayman that always welcome people with open arms and a warm greeting. Exactly how and why so many expats came, stayed, and became Caymanians. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, because we always were about inclusion and opening our arms to, everyone to be part of the success story, part of the, what do they say? Sand, sun, and fun. Or what is it? Sand, sun, and something else. I don't know. But, it was all about inclusivity. But I think that unfortunately, what has happened is we've been a little bit too inclusive to the point where people think they can push us out and push us around. Miss Marjorie says, profiling Caymanians shameful, and we must not let this happen in our own country. Lavana, thank you so much. She says the hurtful part of this is that they were being told that by a foreigner. This is why I never supported none of them during COVID when everyone is spending their money at these hotels to keep them open. They don't even know there might be another COVID part 2 around the corner,
You have no idea.
And again, they'll be begging the locals to come, shop local, support local. Who's going to do that when this is how you treat people? Gabby says next time go to Indigo. They'll take care of you.
Yeah, I've been to Indigo. They're really nice.
Yeah, they're nice. Shaka wants to know your social media handle. So go ahead and give us, before we wrap up with you, give us some information on how people can follow you.
Okay. So my Instagram handle is the Nick Stewart. And you can follow me there on any platform at the Nick Stewart, or you can follow our company called St. Cayman. It's st.cayman.
Nice. Awesome. Really appreciate it. Continue to elevate and to do amazing things. I really appreciate you also calling into the program and giving us the backdrop of all of this.
Yes, thank you so much. Sam.
Yeah. So, have a good one. And thanks again for calling in.
Thank you. You too.
All right, my dear. Take care.
All right. Bye.
All right, folks. I saw some calls coming in. Let me just grab some of those now. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandy. Good morning, Traveen. It's Shiv. How are you?
Good. She's offline because I can't take a call with her and somebody else at the same time. Yeah, she was calling on WhatsApp.
Yeah. I saw her video when it first came out. Her and her friend who is actually a Caymanian artist in her own right, Tiger Littlegill. You know, it's such a shame that we see yet another incident with Palm Heights. With this sort of discriminatory behavior. I'm sure if you search the world famous women in Cayman group, you will come across several reports of their discriminatory behavior, particularly towards locals. I would say for at least the past 5 years, including that COVID period. The sad part about it is these are establishments that are a part of our tourism product and being touted as tourism ambassadors. And this is what people get to experience and see as part of the Caymanian tourism product. This is not okay. It screams for some sort of attention from the minister and Ministry of Tourism. She's not just a paying guest. She's a Caymanian supermodel in her own right, but a paying guest. Full stop. This is simply unacceptable. You look Caymanian. What? Where do we draw the line, and when will it stop? When is somebody going to say something? Because to that commenter's credit, I mean, had this been someone else, it probably could have and may have been handled very differently. Very differently.
Exactly.
She could have packed her bags. She could have packed her bags and left and whatever. And she just kind of very calmly, casually shared her experience to bring awareness to it. And I guess the purpose of her post, in my opinion, may have been largely to educate us. Yeah. You know, patronizing. But I want to remind Palm Heights that they are coming up to the slowest season, in the tourism sector.
And that is why they give away so much stuff to try and build up their reputation. But you know, it's a fraud. It's a fake thing because their real reputation sucks.
I want to remind Caymanians that they have the buying power and spending power, and you work far too hard for your money to be treated in these types of ways. And there are other establishments that you are welcome to patronize that won't and don't treat you in these ways. I mean, how many times does someone have to spit in your face before you finally get that?
Exactly.
They don't want you there.
Yep.
And it's not just carry on. Let them carry on. Eventually, it will get out there. Every time you have a poor experience, document it. Make a video. Make a post. Eventually, they will get their comeuppance. Yeah, they will. But to not be addressed on a national level when this type of behavior is increasing in this island, is beyond me. Yep. But I will leave you there, and hopefully, my pleas do not fall on deaf ears. And a statement of some sort, if not from the minister or ministry, from the establishment, from the Dark Corporation, they are getting a bad rep for having bad tenants. For having bad tenants.
Yep. Because everybody thinks it's them running it.
Precisely, and truly to no fault of their own. But I mean, this hotel is notorious. But I will leave you there, and hopefully something is said and or done about it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. 936-2626. Phone lines are open. We're going to start to wind down a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that caller has said. I think that there's reputational damage here that is being caused to our beautiful island, even to the DART organization. I mean, they can't be pleased that these things keep coming up about this facility, but I have to question, why are they not doing something about it? Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
Morning, dear. Not bad. How are you?
I'm okay. This situation has been going on for so long with Palm Heights that it's just scary. I have chosen, although my buying power isn't what it used to be, I have chosen not to support any of these businesses in Cayman. I don't care whether it's DART owned, locally owned by a Caymanian. If I walk through a door and you cannot even say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to
Basic
me.
manners,
Well,
that's right.
hello. I turn around, Sandra, and I walk right out. Yes, the Minister for Tourism and the government needs to address this because we Caymanians have the buy-in power and we have the say. And I'm going to give you one example of where I went off, and I went off royally. I was at Foster's some months ago in West Bay, and I bought a pack of potato chips, a big pack. It was on sale, $2 off. So here, $2 or $1 off. Here, I had to wait in front of the customer service little desk for way over 20 minutes. I watched as management ran around. I watched as the young lady tried to get someone to come to do the refund. When the supervisor came, she had nothing but attitude. And she was a foreigner. She was a Jamaican. And I stood there and I said, oh, not today. I said, can you explain to me why it's taking this long to get, I think it was $1 refund. And she says to me, she just spins around and looks at me and goes with her grumpy voice, you think it's only you I have to deal with in here? I said, oh, no, not today. I said, you don't know who I am, but I'll tell you, I know who the Foster family is. I said, you don't want to go down this road. Sandra, I came home. I contacted Human Resources at Foster's the next day, and I asked for Mr. Foster. They provided me with Mr. Woody Foster's email address, and I laid it out to him nicely, and I told Mr. Foster who I was.
Yes.
And I go way back because I was a head teller when Woody was being trained by his father, okay? To do what Woody is doing today. So I go way back. And I said, no Foster employee is going to treat me like a dog. I am not begging Fosters for anything. I am a paying customer. I said, unless you want me to work on this young woman and get in front of your supermarket over there by where the Farrington Drive, where that bus stop is, and put up a big sign, put her name on it, and start a boycott on Foster Supermarket. You better deal with her. You better put all your staff in place because I do not need Fosters. There is Kirk's and there is Hurley's, and I'll go shop there. Mr. Foster called me. He addressed the problem. And you know, the other day I went in there, you know what I see up on every cash register tail? On that little piece of metal strip that comes down with the wires are included. You know what I saw? How to greet your customer from start to end. And at the end of it, Sandra, it says a big thank you in capital letters. And I put my hats out to Mr. Foster because I told him the reason I shop Foster still is because of his family and because I knew his father. That is the reason. I know where Fosters come from and I know the family. They are an excellent, good family. And I know they don't put up with horrible customer service. It's sad. It's the customer. I mean, these hotels, I wouldn't walk into one of them if they gave me $1,000 to come to stay in their hotel. They treat Caymanians like dogs. You go to sit on the beach. Even if you go and sit on the beach down there, what used to be the Tiki Beach when Mr. Smart had it leased from Mr. Dart Corporation. They didn't want you sitting behind there as if they owned the beach. And I'm like, you don't own no beach here. This is the people's beach. But I will leave you there. Customer service in this country, Sandra, has gone to the dogs.
Yep.
And it is the foreigners, most of them, that are doing it. And like they say, they come here, they bring their people here. They don't want to hire us Caymanians that are hireable. And they call us stupid, dumb. None of this no more. If these people don't wake up and realize that Cayman is for us who live here, you have been given the gift of a lifetime to come and live and work amongst us. If you foreigners cannot have respect, that 7-letter word, RESPECT, for any Caymanians or Cayman, and I keep saying it goes to have respect for everything above us and below this Caribbean sea, because that's being depleted too. we have had enough of this attitude from foreigners. And like I'm speaking what Mr. Michael Miles said. If businesses do not want to hire Caymanians that are hireable and employable and want to work, then nobody is going to work. Period. So send them back home, because they're coming here for a better life, but yet they're putting us down as Caymanians, telling us we can't come in this business. We can go sit outside. Like, who you think we are? We're not a bunch of dogs here. This is Cayman, and it is for Caymanians. And I dare any foreigner that tries to break a rule in my country, I call them out and I video them. If it's illegal, I tell them it's illegal. I'm leaving you there, and I'm going to ask you to pass my number on to Siobhan, because I need to get to her to get a problem sorted in my constituency of loud music being carried on every Friday and Saturday night, and the police refuse to do anything to this Jamaican, and I've had enough of it in the neighborhood.
All right, my dear, leave me there.
Pass my number on, please.
Yes,
thank you.
no
But
problem.
We locals are, and we have the buying power, and we need to start boycotting these businesses that do not treat Caymanians right. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so we have several callers calling in. Carrie, you were first. Go ahead, please. Jonathan, hold on. I'm coming to you next. Go ahead, Carrie.
Oh, okay. Morning.
Good morning.
Everybody. I always like listen to him. Oh, he can say it how he just like
hold on 1 second. Let me just adjust, because I don't think people can hear you. I'm just adjusting your settings. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Well, with respect to what happened to our beautiful supermodel, I want to tell her I'm so sorry they treated you so disrespectfully in your home country, the land of your birth. I'm really sorry. But we see it up here in the Brac too. I want to praise the Dart place, this Le Sol d'Or Beach Club. They do not stop you from coming there and using their pool. And every time I've gone there, our people have been very respectful. They come with their children, they eat, they buy food at the bar, the food and drinks, and they chill at the pool or go on the beach if there's no sarcasm. And nobody is chasing them away or treating them with any bias or racism ever. Down at the Cayman Brac Beach Resort, you better not put your foot in that pool if you go there and buy food. Even if you went there every day and ate, you still not getting, you can't put your foot in that pool. I was told by the manager, she would have me kicked out. Imagine that. So if y'all want to take your children and enjoy the pool and have a nice time and be courteous to the property and the workers as well, the beach club is the place, and that is owned by Dart, operated by Dart, and his staff there are the nicest. Majority of them, there are Indians, there is a Cuban, and I think there's a Honduran girl there as well. They're all very, very polite, nice, calm, accommodating, and courteous. So to stay away from the Cayman Brac Beach Resort, because they race us down. They're like, you know what? Anyway, I nearly said the bad word, but
it's after 9:30. So
that way. Oh, it is. Well, I'm really sorry she was treated that way. That's just not a good experience for our people to go back now and get back into their worldly, doing their thing in here. Oh, how was your trip back home? Well, this happened. How that gonna look on us? But it happens too often, Sandra, and I want to rise my people up. Remember, you are royalty in this country. You are not the scum of the earth. When you go into a bank and there's a line, you walk to the top of it because everybody else behind you. You're native. You treat yourself like royalty in this country. Stop making everybody else treat you
listen,
bad.
There was a young lady who brought up this last week. She was talking about this young lady who I think she's actually from Cayman Brac, but I don't know. But anyway, she's a local lawyer. And it's so funny because after I mentioned and read the screenshot, she went and took down her social media page. So I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, she said, some people walk through the airport like there's somebody, and how they don't, they treat the workers as less than, they're disrespectful. Listen, I don't care who you are, Caymanian, expat, whatever. The rules do apply to all of us, and we all have to follow the rules, right? Exactly. So I don't get a special set of rules because I'm a Caymanian from Bordentown or Lower Valley or Georgetown or whatever. You have to be respectful to people. And I know I really go out of my way, especially with service workers, because I feel like that's never an easy job. Like they had to put up with a lot of shit from people. And, you know, by the time you get to, or they get to you, you don't know how many horrible customers they've had for the day, but they're in that position for a reason. And they have hopefully been trained on how to handle whatever is being thrown at them. And you have to offer service with a smile. You know, over the weekend, we went to Jamaica for the weekend, and, we stayed at the Terra Nova because our friends were getting married at the facility. Now, the facility is an older facility. I liked it. I mean, it has something about it in terms of, you know, older and whatever.
It has character.
Yes, that's the right. Yes, that's the word. You know, no elevator, but it got character. So me and my poor knee was going up and down those stairs. But the staff were amazing. They were, I mean, when we did our, you know, every morning we got up, we had a little local breakfast there in their dining hall. I can't even remember the name of the guy now, but my dear Marlon was on first name basis with him from the get-go. And by the second day, he know you better bring Marlon his cup of coffee straight away, and bring his proper brown sugar and his milk, and you know, just amazing customer service, excellent customer service.
Exactly.
And just because we weren't someone's specific table doesn't mean that another server, if they were passing by and saw that we needed water, that they weren't topping us up. They would top us up.
Thank you.
So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for basic customer service training when you are in a forward-facing business. Listen, I have to deal with customers all the time. You know, I have my little retail business, and I know sometimes customers are wrong. Sometimes they can be annoying as hell. But once you decide to be in a particular industry, you have got to be prepared to give a certain level of customer service. I mean, you know, my girlfriend, she's gonna laugh when I mentioned this, but the other day she was saying to me, I think it was yesterday, she said to me that she was having some issues with her usual AC guy, you know, using these rinky-dinky AC guys. And she's like, girl, you gotta tell me now who at Polar Bear, because you know that's who I've been using for the last couple of years. She's like, who at Polar Bear I need to reach out to? And so she sent me Monday. Yeah, that was Monday. She sent me a screenshot. She said, yes, sir. Talk about service. And then she sent their little message where they even tell you, okay, a technician is on their way to your location. Like all of these things matter because, you know, we live in a day and age now, girl, where you can't be opening your door to any and everybody. Somebody show up talking about their service worker. You're like, well, I don't know if you're the one I'm looking for. So it's such a nice touch that they will actually advise you of when their service technicians are on the way, how much longer they're going to be. So in case you're in the middle of something, you know, you can plan accordingly. And she was like, this is excellent service. I had to use my little drinking cup emojis. I was like, girl, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, we need that quality customer service up in the Brac, because when you book something, when you call to tell someone you need them to come to your house to do something, they show up when they want. I'm at your house now. Could you tell me in advance when you're coming? I only need 30 minutes. 30, sometimes I say 15 minutes. Cause Cameron Brac, wherever he is, you can get where you gotta go in 15 minutes the most. And they don't bother to just show up. And then it's an attitude. If you're not there, they leave, and I'll be back, and then you don't see them for days.
Oh my God!
Brac need a serious shock in a customer service.
Yeah,
they want me to train their people. I got certification in customer service training.
Damien said,
boy, they a mess up, yeah.
Yeah, Damien said, tell them, Carrie, how many Caymanians are treated at resorts and at Brac Reef and Little Cayman Brac Resort. And he said that some manager named Trudy or Judy or something is a racist. Wow, what the hell?
It's not impossible.
Oh my God.
No, at the Cayman Brac Beach Resort, let me say this. The staff at the outdoor bar and the indoor dining are amazing. They're all very respectful, and they got rid of, I think they got rid of that feeling hand one they had there, that he had touch your part of your body to talk to you. But the other people are lovely. There's the lady, the twins, the other guys that work, there's an Indian chef. They're all so courteous and kind. Now, they're the ones that's holding up that resort. But when you gonna tell our people we come in, we spend $60, $70 or over $100 if you bring your family to sit and eat on a Sunday afternoon, they can't go and take a dip in your pool that nobody is in. Nobody in the pool. Then that's saying that you're racist
Oh
towards
my
us. You don't
gosh.
want us in your pool. And yeah, I gotta say it. The Tibbetts family own it. They're my cousins. They need to get their shit together. That's all I'm saying. If it's not coming from them directly and it's pure management, then the management I know and she need to get her shit together too. Okay? I'm just saying, be fair to people. Don't talk to me and tell me I'll kick you out if you go in her pool. I was jokingly saying it to her one day. And then a friend of mine wanted to come to the Brac. And I said, well, go to the Kim and Brac Beach Resort because I wanted to test it out. They went, they booked and they were there for a few days and they got one of the armband things for me so that I could go in the pool with them. Imagine.
All right, my dear, leave me there.
You're the one recommended a guest to come to your facility and your guest that recommended them, can't go in the pool with you. Anyway, I just think that we need to stop this. This has to stop today, not tomorrow. And our people, you rise up and you tell them to their face. You don't have to be nasty and cuss them off like me. Call me and I'll cuss them off for you. But tell them how you feel when they treat you with racism and bias in any organization. It don't matter where it is, whether it's tourism, whatever, real estate, banking, it doesn't matter. Anyway, y'all have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's go to another caller and hold. Good morning, Jonathan. Welcome to the program.
Oh, that might have.
I tell you.
Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning.
Just quickly, just wanted to mention first, before I speak to the subject matter at hand. I wrote a comment in, but it seems like when you look at the comment, Sandra, you don't see that was a response.
Oh, no. Okay. No. I see them in a linear way, not a hierarchy if you're responding to people. So sometimes that's why it gets a little bit confusing.
Right on. So I figured maybe if you could tweak that a little bit, it would allow you to
well, the system that I'm using, I don't control that. So
doesn't allow it.
No, I can't tweak it. But I would have to go to the Facebook post to see it. But yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to clarify that for you. But first of all, to the young lady, welcome home. But I want to make this point, and this is not to belittle or to disregard anything of her achievements on the world stage. She's a Caymanian, first and foremost, not a Caymanian model, not a Caymanian anything other than a Caymanian. What we have here is a definitive program of some level of apartheid against Caymanians in general. Now, Caymanian is not a race, but I would also venture to say that it was the look, maybe even somewhat of the accent of the young lady and her friend to a lesser degree that started this issue. I'll also like to say this. The gentleman maybe, I don't know, who these ladies interacted with. I heard the young lady speak to the fact that management said, oh, he doesn't understand. That's a load of BS. They are taught this. They are taught to be prejudiced against Caymanians. They are taught this. It's a level of apartheid here in Cayman. There has been a purposeful drive in Cayman, whether it be as a guest or as an employee, to disassociate and to remove presence of Caymanians within the industry for multiple reasons. One is the very insular nature of a large group of expatriates who want to keep their own people coming in to be employees and to further concrete their stance within the industry here. And it also has to do with just this basic idea of exclusivity, which has destroyed the Cayman Islands tourism product from where it actually originally came from. That's my position on that matter because I've watched it happen. The quality of life for the Caymanian, the quality of experience for the tourist has gone downhill ever since Cayman stopped giving due respect and credit to the middle class people who used to come to the Cayman Islands for their vacation year after year after year, generation after generation. And then Cayman, in a dearth of anything called common sense, decided to make everything exclusive. This is the result that we are getting here in the Cayman Islands as a result of that ideology being allowed to push forward. Now, I have a question for you. So tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm probably wrong, but I might be wrong. I don't know. I seem to remember that the management of this Chile's Palm Heights place was one of the daughters of the Dart family. Is that correct or incorrect?
No. I know we've had some discussion around this previously. And I don't know where the confusion comes from. I don't know if she goes around telling people that, but I suspect that because it is a Dart-owned property, some people just have the wires confused a little bit. And of course, they probably don't mind having a rumor out there that she's related to Dart, but she has no relation to Dart whatsoever.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, understood. Listen, I'll just end with this because I'll keep most of what I have within me quiet and leave it to the ether to hear this morning. But I would like to follow up on what not the last caller, but the previous caller, the lady before that said. Mr. Miles and Mr. Rutte, please take note of the situation. Use the power and the influence that you have to set the management of Tillis and Palm Heights straight. We, the Caymanian people, are looking to you to put your foot down, take off the kid gloves, and set these people straight. Do it, or you will be failing us, the Caymanian people. I hope that you, both of you gentlemen, and everybody else within the present-day governmental administration takes this issue seriously, as it should be. Take off the kid gloves and deal with them on the same level that they're dealing with our Caymanian people. With that, wish you a good day.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right. Let's just wrap up with a few more comments. So Shaka Zulu says, good choice of words, Jonathan. Apartheid, please say it again. Damien says, yes, it's just robotic now, not genuine. Damien says that she's a Sudanese living in New York. Her name is Gabby. Kaboom for that caller, says Sue Baden. Carrie has offered to cuss people out for y'all. So if you need a cusser, a professional cusser, she's willing to do it. This caller says, where is Kenneth Bryan this morning? He should be calling in and talking about bringing a motion to address this. Please ask the question. So Kenneth Bryan, where are you? Other people are saying, where is the various ministers, including, the Minister of Tourism? This person says, good morning. Last Saturday, I had a very bad experience at Little Monkeys. Where's Little Monkeys? I didn't know they were still around. With apparently the owner. During the summer, I took my grandkids to enjoy some playtime together, plus other kids that I donated playtime ago. Playtime too, maybe. So last Thursday, my grandbaby, a 2-year-old, took them to Little Monkeys. But before we reached, she asked for a patty, which I bought. And we got to Little Monkeys and she started to eat. And of course, the patty is very messy. So the other grandma said she'll clean up the mess. Some of course, by any means, our grandkids made. And the whole summer we sat on the steps to a play ladder, which nobody ever told me we couldn't. It's very central, so you can watch a 2-year-old, 2 of them, play. The lady, the owner, came in a very annoyed manner and said that you cannot sit there because the kids need to move up and down, which is understandable. So we proceeded to move, and the woman was still arguing to the point, ma'am, why are you still arguing? Don't you see we are moving? Ma'am, you are very argumentative. I promise I'll never go back there, which is now depriving my grandkids of quality playtime. Well, let me say this. I don't even know where Little Monkeys is anymore. I have no clue who owns it, but there's quality playtime. You can take them a lot of other places, I'll admit. And I don't know what this was all about. I mean, sometimes, like I said, when you're customer facing and you're in a job, you just have to be able to say, listen, um, if you have certain policies, yes, you want your policies to be followed and respected. It could be for safety reasons. Look like in this case, it was more of an access point. You can say things like that, but it's really a matter of how you say it. You can say things in a respectful manner that enforce your rules and just say, hey, this is how it is. I was saying earlier, even with my own customers, sometimes I have to explain certain things to them about streaming TV services and how this works. Like there's a slight outage and it's like one outage a year and they get all upset about they can't watch. I'm like, listen, let's be very clear. Nothing has 100% uptime. I don't care if you got a satellite dish, cloud coverage comes over, you not got no uptime. Storm comes in, you not got no uptime. Hello, right? So I just say nothing has 100% uptime. The server guys are very, very blunt about it. They're like, if you have a customer who's looking for an uptime of 100%, tell them this is not the service for them. And so I try to manage expectations by explaining to my customers, occasionally things will happen. Servers go down. These devices are all over the world. Shit happens, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? And if you can't deal with that, if you need a system that's 24/7 up all the time, I wouldn't feel no way, trust me, if you went to Flow or Logic. And of course, I know Flow and Logic don't have no uptime that's 100%. The other day, they were down for a whole week and couldn't give nobody an explanation as to why. I'm just saying. And what y'all gonna do? Go to Off-Reg and complain? Off-Reg's like, well, we're gonna tell them to fix it. And you still have to wait until there's a fix. So, customers being who they are, sometimes it can be really, really challenging. But if you don't want to be in the customer service business, then don't be in the customer service business. Don't have a business that requires you to be forward facing, because not everybody has that personality. Some people don't have the personality to deal with people. They have a short fuse, they get annoyed easily. I'm not like that when it comes to my customers, because I know I have customers of different age groups. Some are seniors and they don't have nothing else to do but sit down and watch TV all day. So they're always the first ones to message me when there's a little glip in the system. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And I explained to them, let me check and see, what is it that's going on. But I'll give you another story. I had a guy in Trinidad, actually. His son is here, and both of them had the service. And the father was always complaining about something or another. Always, always, always. And 99% of the time, it was actually his internet in Trinidad that was the problem. But the way in which he complained, he was always so rude about it. Hate to tell you, but Indian Trinidadian, and he was just rude as he could possibly be. A little of it probably was his age and his crankiness, but you also just get the feeling that he grew up in a world where he was somehow entitled to a very different level of service. And, he was just always so faced in. One day I finally said to the son, I said, sir, and I said it to the father too, I don't want your father as a customer anymore. Don't take it personal. But I, as a business owner, get to pick and choose my customers. And there's a saying that not all money is good money. Your little $50 service charge a month wasn't even worth it to me. The frustration of having to listen to his voice notes, being disrespectful, and read his messages, I decided after months and months and months of dealing with this, I didn't want to do it anymore. And I said, we don't want his service anymore, okay? He's in Trinidad. Have him figure out something in Trinidad, because he's also the type of person as he would be making mistakes in the system and want us to fix it when it's him. So maybe he needs someone who's a little bit closer to him physically that can go over to his house and fix it. I didn't go on any kind of way. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. None of that. I just made it very, very clear. I no longer want your father as a customer. And this has been years. And do you know, I don't even know if the father's still alive, to be honest, because he was really up in age. But do you know, to this day, I still have the son as a customer? He is still a happy customer, pays his bills every single month, no problem. But I just didn't want his father as a customer. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm cranky.
Oh, you sound a little congested this morning too.
Yes, I think I told you the other day I came back home with a flu.
Oh, I can definitely hear it today.
Yeah, but anyway, I didn't get the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I took my nighttime medication a bit late last night, so it worked till past my normal wake up time. But anyway, I caught you were already speaking to the lady.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a Cayman model.
Yes. Well, she's worldwide now, girl. She got contracts with Nike and all over the place.
Right. I meant Cayman as in
Caymanian model, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then, some of your comments and other callers are saying, that they're counting on the new Minister of Tourism and our new Minister of Immigration and Labor to fix these things. What I would like to remind people of, these things didn't start with them.
Right.
Yeah, they intend to fix it. I think that's obvious. But please, make sure you let them know. Either write an email to them or make an appointment, go down to their office, sit down and tell them about this experience. Otherwise, they're not going to know. And I do believe that anyone that has listened to Minister Michael Miles, realize he's not joking.
Yeah. Well, we don't get to listen to him because he doesn't come over here, but
I get to listen to him.
Yes.
And he also has an Instagram page, which is very active and updated. And for those who don't know where the office is, it's located there in Grand Harbor. So I would suggest that they go and let him know what their experiences are. And to the others, see, these things don't happen to me because I have learned a long time ago, and I've said this before, not because people don't look you in your face and call you a nigger, but it doesn't mean they're not racist. They say it in so many other ways. They're not going to do it to me. I have worked too hard for my money, and like you said a little while ago, I didn't go and get a mortgage to build a house with a yard. Do not enjoy it.
That's right.
I enjoy my house. I enjoy my yard. I enjoy my front yard, backyard, side yard, whatever. I don't need to pay off somebody else's mortgage to be happy in my life. And they can keep their stinking swimming pools because I don't go in pools. I scorn pools. So they could have $1 million. I wouldn't go in it. That is not for me. If I want to sit down and have a good conversation or catching up with friends or family, we do it at one of our houses and we have a better time because we don't have anybody rude coming around our table. We don't have a curfew. And if the children fall asleep, they got somewhere to sleep. We're all Caymanians. We know each other. So supporting them. They have not established any of these things for Caymanians. They have been allowed to get away with it for too long. Now the bull has broken the pen. How much rope do you all think that the new government has? I mean, yes, they're trying to clean up a lot of things, but there is just so much to clean up. So Caymanians, you all can help them. Stop supporting them. There is a business here in Cayman, and I will not call the name, but when I was working on our lunch hour, because that's usually when we nipped out and bought whatever we needed to buy, apart from lunch. And every time you went in there, you could spend your whole lunch hour in there. And as long as the cruise ship passengers were in there, you were not getting served. And you're watching the time, your lunch hour is running out. You got to get back to work. And one day, I finally, we knew all of these ladies at that time, they were Caymanians who were working there. And one day I decided to say something. And, I can say it now because that person no longer works there. They're long retired. And they said to me, I am so sorry that I see you all come in here and we can't come over to you to serve you because we have been instructed by the owners, who were also the managers, that once the tourists are in here, we are to serve the tourists first. I said, but you do me a favor. And if you need to write it down, write it down. I said, you won't tell them. They will never sell to me again. I don't even want someone to come here and buy me a gift because I will return it. And I told everyone that I knew. And I didn't care if I even had to buy it off island. That's what I did. And I stopped supporting them until this day. They will not deposit 1 penny. Hate me. Tell your younger listeners what that means of my money. I have worked too hard. Nobody is coming on my plantation and bought a gift from me. I am sorry. It will not happen. And I don't care what they want to say about me, but I finish saying what I have to say because I don't mince words with anyone. There is no one that is better than me, and there are few that is half as good. Just remember that, Caymanians. Let me say it to you again. There is no one that is better than me, and few that is half as good. That's when you go anywhere, you hold your head up. You'll be proud to be a Caymanian, and you let them know you are a Caymanian. Do not change your principles, your morals, or your upbringing to fit in anywhere. Because if that is the case, you already know something is wrong.
Thank you, Miss Brenda.
God.
All right, folks. Someone said, please give Miss Brenda a job because she's always on point. This caller listening this morning said the fish rots from the head. Leadership is the root cause of these anti-local policies. Again, obviously, if the leadership isn't speaking up or, doing anything about it, by way of example, then most certainly these companies believe that they can get away from this with this kind of behavior. So a few of you have clarified and shared that actually Kenneth Bryan is on Radio Cayman this morning. So that might explain why he did not call into the program, because he would not have been listening. So somebody actually sent the screenshot. There he is. This morning at 10:16, they took that screenshot, and 9 people were listening to him over there on Radio Cayman's YouTube channel. Marshall says, yes, Miss Brenda needed that kaboom, right on point. So, one mess, jail. Thank you, Miss Valmalie, also clarifying that Kenneth was on Radio Cayman with OC this morning. Well, somebody said, well, he better call tomorrow. What a hot mess. Oh my God. Is that somebody at my door? Let me see. I hear a doorbell ringing. Somebody at your front door. That could be my handyman. Let me see. Somebody at the front door. Okay, honey, chill. Yes. Well, these people got to do better, and we have to demand better. That much I do know. So Palm Heights, y'all are disappointing. I wish you would just close up. Marshall, why you had to go pick up on that for? She says, Sandy, you're so shady. Only 9 people watching. Well, I'm reading it. I'm just reading it out loud. It is only 9 people that was watching. I mean, what you want me to do? Tell a lie that he had? Let me see how many we got. Let me be fair and see how many we got. Oh, on YouTube alone, we have 211 right now. I'm just saying. No shade intended, except shade be the truth. This person said they're dying over this comment. Oh my God, this is funny. I kind of feel Miss Brenda on this though, about swimming pools. Sometimes when you think about what be going on in pools, you'd be like, I don't want to get in that pool. But in case it was not in the front of your mind this morning, Miss Brenda brought it home. Yes, they can keep their stinking swimming pools dead. This person's like, oh my God, that was so funny. It really is. I can't even. Oh God, I love the emojis. I think I got all these already. Me what? Me Devin know what to say. Me Devin know what to say. Oh, I need to save that one. I don't have that one yet. And then this one I need to add to favorites too. Girl, you keep them coming. Oh my God. I'm some days I'm at a loss for words, and I tell you what, Miss Brenda just told y'all how it goes. So what else can I say except she was on point? Good morning, caller. Final call of the day. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good.
I have a little challenge. I want to find out if you could help me with, please.
Okay.
Yes, I saw the property, and I think they claimed I'm owing a lot of fees.
Oh, hold on. Oh, this is totally off topic. All right, listen. I was just about to wrap up. We haven't done an Ask Auntie segment in a long time. Let us do that tomorrow. So we'll have a segment where you can call back and have your questions answered. So how about if we do that tomorrow for the second half of the show? Because I think the first half we have some guests coming in. So call tomorrow, because this sounds like a whole advice segment, and that can take some time.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So give us a call tomorrow.
Thank you.
Probably around 8:30 or so. No problem, my dear.
Okay.
Okay.
8:30, call about 8:30.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
dear.
thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we'll encourage our guests to come on early, and then we can do a Ask Auntie segment, which we have not done in a while. So I think we're overdue for that. But what a mess. No, sir. All right, folks, that's all she wrote. Yes, I actually, y'all making me laugh, but I actually need to go in the sauna room, because I need a little detox, but let me go. I need to book a sauna appointment. I was just saying, speaking of these resorts, I'm going to be booking something but I want to make sure that my wound is ready, because it was an open wound kind of surgery. I can't sit in any kind of water or anything like that until it completely closes up. So I'm going to have my physiotherapist check it for me today, because I honestly don't know what I'm looking for. Listen, follow Trevine, the Nick Stewart. Let me send her link here. I followed her this morning. I don't follow a whole lot of people, because let's just say that our social media is busy, and we don't have much space. I got a Dr. Carlos update for you. Remind me tomorrow, Shaka Zulu, to give you that update, and we'll discuss that. But yeah, there's going to be a slight change with that situation there, and so I'll explain it to you fully tomorrow. Okay, so righty. Let me say thank you for tuning in. Give Nikki a follow. Share some love. What does one say? Sandy, wait until Kenneth grab you my strength, silver, the cliff. What? I can't. What? Wait until Kenneth grab you my strength, silver, the cliff, Saturday. That last part has me confused. Kenneth can be grabbing me, not if he got any sense. And definitely he better be not trying to grab me by the puss, because I tell you, we're cousins, so don't go there. Lord, you got to make the comment make sense, though. Amy said this: unfortunately, we are the minority. The buying power decreases if there are more expats. Then do we really have the buying power? Amy, that sounds like a great topic for one of your shows that you're working on. I would love for you to do a deep dive and to tackle that. Yeah, what a hot mess. All right, follow Trevine the Stewart, and then we will take it from there. Okay. Okie dokie. What the okay, let me go sort out something with these government people, because they be confusing me to hell and back. All right, tomorrow is Thursday. We do have some guests coming on. For the first part of the show, we'll have some folks from the university. You're calling in at the last minute. You're lucky answering the phone, you know. Hello?
I say,
Uh-huh.
I would be able to help you when Kenneth grab you, because on Saturday, the 6th of September, I have no more strength. That is gone. That's my birthday.
Oh, what he ain't grab me for?
Leave him alone.
He not that he not that foolish. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, these 9 people. Leave him alone.
I'm not doing that to Kenneth. I just said he was over at Radio Cayman, and he had 9 people watching him. I mean,
how you doing? How you doing otherwise? Long time.
No complaints. Don't make no sense to complain, honey.
Take
Chill.
care now. Take care.
All right, my darling. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Kenneth not that stupid now. He not gonna be grabbing nobody. Woo. Ay. Oh, Powerball, somebody said in the States is up to $1.4 billion. Man, I wish I was in the United States of America to buy me a little ticket. I could do with any portion of $1.4 billion. What a hot mess. All right, folks, that's all she wrote. Y'all have a beautiful day. See you mañana. Bye-bye. Be good. And I'm going to post up a video that I just got about the bad driving on the road. Apparently, it's raining out there. Y'all need to do better. Just straighten up. Okay? Kirks. Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.